What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do. Don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Seekers, sit back, put on your thinking caps. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Seek the truth.
And Mr. Warbucks and his pals get together every month and they have a little ceremony where they eat a very rare, very expensive type of meat. I provide that meat.
Oh, God. Are they eating?
No, it's not what you think, okay? Yeah, it's people. Yeah. Yeah. But they're already gone. So.
Never had a little girl.
And he has Warbucks and his pals. They never eaten a kid, okay? All the meat is adult meat and it's part of the ritual. Okay.
That show is riddled with little hidden messages like this. The fans guys always put it right in our faces for everyone to see but no one to believe. That show alone I could have content for a year straight. The amount of little hints and things they put in it. And I don't think they'll be stopping anytime soon because everyone will still watch the show. Everyone will continue to support what they do.
Sad but true. This shit is dangerous, man.
I just got that over it, God!
The cat jumped back. Y'all saw that?
Start pouring rain on our walk. My sister.
Oh, that was bad.
This is a supposed picture of two interdimensional beings. If this is a real picture, this is absolutely insane. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Stay weird.
Okay.
This ball of fire streaking across the night sky. The latest in a string of stellar sightings seen here overnight in California. Whoa! And Space City living up to its name.
Did y'all see that?
With this one Saturday afternoon in Houston.
It's going to be an explosion. It's a meteorite or missile still in the sky.
Traveling at 35,000 miles per hour, NASA says.
That's where it came in at.
Part of it crashing through this woman's roof, leaving a massive crater.
It just boom, then I heard a boom.
The meteor was about 3 feet in diameter, NASA says, and weighed about a ton before it broke apart in the sky, sending researchers and hunters alike to this park, searching for fragments.
Yeah, so I found 2 meteorites this morning.
So how does it feel?
I was very excited. It's very exciting to find it and know that you're holding something that just 2 days ago was in space.
3 galactic spectacles in the past week, experts say.
Oh, what's that?
This in Ohio.
The size of the meteor is pretty big. You can see the fireball more easily.
An out-of-this-world experience that one need only look up to see.
No, can't put it home.
Ah.
It's ridiculous. Did you tell her there was any other homes provided for her by Eric?
What the is that, bro?
No, but I told her that he had
What is that?
that she would not be kicked out of the house. That she could.
I want to know why everybody is getting sick now, especially with the food. If you're a snacker and you love to eat snacks, you're going to watch this, y'all. This is beyond disturbing.
How they really make the snacks you eat every day? Once you learn about this process, you might never buy them again.
Break it down for us.
Illegal factories secretly collect expired products from supermarkets that should have been trashed. Then they open packages, dump expired snacks into huge grinders, and pulverize even rotten, moldy items. Next, they add flavors, preservatives, and dyes to mask the foul smell and look of spoiled food. Using molds, they shape the mixture to look like new snacks. They print fake production dates on packages and seal them to appear fresh. These snacks then end up in markets and stores. Customers, seeing low prices and bright colors, buy them unaware they're eating garbage.
So we just re-eating just the same old over and over again. It's just recycled, man. They take old bread, they shit products and just grind them up and just use it again, man. So we're not getting anything fresh, bro. Of course, man. That don't even surprise me no more.
Are demons? So during this sit-down meeting with JD Vance, this man was asking him a series of questions about UFOs. And JD Vance goes on to say, I haven't really looked into the files yet. And he was like, did you even peek in it? He said, because people seem to believe that aliens are in Area 51. And JD Vance started laughing like, yeah, I heard that before in Hangar 18 or whatever. And then y'all, this man said it. He said, I don't think UFOs are aliens anyway. I think they're demons. Come on now. Y'all, look at this shit.
It gets to the bottom of it. Okay, so you haven't been to Area 51 yet. Not yet. I guess they get UFOs in Ohio. Yeah, Hangar 18, right? I've heard that as well, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet. Okay. All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens knock up. I know they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a long discussion.
Y'all heard what JD Vance said. And the crazy part about it, they speak about aliens being fallen angels. And you gotta ask yourself, why would he say it? Unless he knows something that we don't. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below in the comments.
Starting this year, all the fast food giants have indicated a move towards fully automated kitchens. So everything within the kitchen will be fully automated. The industry itself in robotics is expected to be worth about $2 billion. And that's a move from 2026 over to 2030, where all kitchens will be fully automated. As you see here, they're cooking the patties and they can even assemble the sandwiches. They all have this tech now. It's running through testing, but starting this year, they're going to start to roll it out. They're calling them modular kitchens, and it'll have a software called Ready on Arrival. So you'll arrive in the drive-through, place your order to an AI, and then the AI will make it and deliver it to you in your car.
I don't like it.
Who runs ChatGPT fantasizes about.
But how will people survive? Like, how do we adjust our structure of if some people own the companies that have the AI, and then a lot of people are just using the AIs and the agents created by AIs to do things for them. How will societal members still be able to financially survive? Will there still be money?
I don't know. Neither does anybody else. I do just want a check every month. I sort of like universal basic wealth better than universal basic income, and I don't like basic either. I want universal extreme wealth for everybody. 8 quintillion tokens are going to get divided up equally among 8 billion people. So everybody gets 1 trillion tokens. And that's your kind of universal basic wealth globally. And people can sell those tokens. Like, if I don't need mine, I can sell them to you. We could pool ours together for some, new art project we want to do. But instead of just, getting a check, everybody on Earth is getting, a slice of the world's AI capacity. And then we're letting the, massively distributed human ingenuity and creativity and economic engine do its thing. I mean, that's a crazy idea. Maybe it's a bad one. But that's the kind of thing that I think sounds like someone should think about it more.
Do you know that?
I'm going to go on a record and say I think that's a bad idea, bro. The wealth being determined by AI, man. All it takes is just for one person to hack it, bro. Then that system's gone, bro. I don't know what's up with these freaking billionaires, bro, trying to push AI on us, man. Let it go, bro. It's not gonna happen.
This is the dumbest battle in U.S. history. It all began on a quiet night in Los Angeles, 1942. Then suddenly, radar picks up something. Unidentified objects moving fast, heading straight for the city. No warning, no confirmation. Within minutes, anti-aircraft units are on full alert. At 2:25 a.m., air raid sirens rip through the silence. A total blackout is ordered. The entire city goes dark. Then, they're spotted. Strange lights hanging in the sky. Panic spreads instantly. The military believes Japanese bombers are attacking. At 3:16 a.m., the order is given. Open fire. Explosions tear across the sky. Shells flood the air. Searchlights lock onto moving shapes. More guns join in. Witnesses claim they see dozens, even hundreds of aircraft circling above. For over an hour, Los Angeles becomes a war zone. Then all of a sudden, silence. At 4:14 a.m., the all clear is given. Over 1,400 shells had been fired. But here's the craziest part. There were no enemy planes. And it remains unexplained to this day. Some believe it started with a simple weather balloon. Others think it was something far stranger, even a UFO. The truth? We still don't know. And while the target was unclear, the damage wasn't. Debris rained down, buildings were hit, and 5 civilians lost their lives. This was the Battle of Los Angeles, a night where a city went to war with something that may never have existed.
Is that what the movie is based off of, bro? I'm putting two and two together now, man. The Battle of Los Angeles, that was a movie where, yeah, like aliens invaded LA. Oh, snap. I'm putting the pieces together, man.
Traditional methods to understand animals just won't work. We created a revolutionary technology that gives us unprecedented access to the animal world. We call it hoppers, huh? We put this into this. Yes, this into this. Mabel, be careful! The humans are throwing their last inch of land from us. Let's squish the humans. Wait.
The hell she doing?
Y'all check this out right here. This pickup truck. It sat in my backyard for a year and a half. Didn't use it, didn't need it. Yada yada. Driving it now. Cleaning it out. It's untelling how long it's been in there. Now I don't eat a Chick-fil-A. One of the boys must have got it. That's the Chick-fil-A mac and cheese. Was in the back seat. In the back of the driver's seat. Untelling how long it's been there. Over a year and a half, I know. Probably close to 2 years. Heat, cold, everything. Not a spot of mold.
Perfect.
Y'all eat that garbage.
With near $1 million fire has been burning through Nebraska, if you didn't know, literally the size of fucking Rhode Island, and I've been noticing zero media coverage on it. Every camera, every reporter, every headline is pointed at the Middle East. Fire is approaching 1 million acres, one of the largest in U.S. history, and I just want you to think about this when considering this fire being in Nebraska, okay? Before we get to that, I just want you to think about this. Massive wildfires in Nebraska are threatening to slow efforts to rebuild the U.S. cattle herd as key grazing land in one of the nation's top beef-producing states has been destroyed. Fires fueled by high winds have burned roughly 775,000 acres of pasture, removing a critical feed source for tens of thousands of cattle, according to state officials. Loss of grassland is expected to delay herd expansion plans, even as producers have been encouraged by historically strong cattle prices. See where I'm going here? Now think about this. Nebraska just so happens to sit on top of the Ogallala Aquifer, which just so happens to be the largest underground water source in America. Ogallala supplies 30% of all irrigation water used in U.S. agriculture. Now think about this. While oil prices go up, fertilizer costs skyrocket. Shipping is interrupted, then grain exports also stall. This is happening during the biggest geopolitical crisis in 50 years. And you really think it's a coincidence?
You know that Instagram tracks and basically spies on everything you do? Yes, even when you're not using the app. If you want to turn this off, here's how you can block the tracking in 2 simple steps. First, go to your profile and tap the 3 lines. Then go to Account Center. Open your information and permissions and tap your activity off Meta technology. Scroll down to Manage Future Activity and turn it off. This will stop Meta from sharing information about what you do outside the app with other brands and companies. Step 2. Go back to your activity off Meta Technologies and tap Clear Previous Activity. Then press Clear. This will delete the random data Meta has already collected about you in the past. Now please send this to a friend who has no idea that Meta is tracking them.
Hey man, Seekers, delete your data off IG, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to do that as soon as this video's over, man. You ain't tracking me, bro. No strings on me.
Hold the fuck up. Did anyone else see this coming? Because the numbers called it before the game even started. The king has officially been crowned. King James has become #1 on the NBA's all-time games played list. And how many games did it take him exactly? 1611. The same year the original King James commissioned the King James Version of the Bible. Same title, same number, but centuries apart. And who did he tie on the way to breaking it? Robert Parrish. Parrish is in the church community, so let's go to church. The King tied 1611 against his former team, the Heat. When he played in Miami, the big three were Wade, Bosh, and Bron. Jersey numbers arranged 316, like John 3:16. Whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Just like Parrish, who LeBron passed to live forever at the top of that list. Now follow me closely. Kobe Bryant played exactly 1566 games in his career. The original King James was born in 1566. LeBron becomes king on the 81st day of his age. Kobe scored 81 on his 666 career game, leading us to Revelation 13:18. Count the number of the beast. His number is 600 to scoring 6. Now let's look at the scoreboard that night. The Lakers beat the Heat 134 to 126. 126 like January 26, Kobe's death date, and 134 like 4/13, the date of Kobe's last game against the Jets. The night he scored exactly 60 points. And the same night LeBron tied the record of 1611, Luka scored exactly 60 points. But wait a minute, what makes it even crazier, Luka and Kobe scored their 60th point at the same exact second. The timelines are literally merging.
No seats for life.
No seeds is weird. What is that? Media?
Wouldn't it be crazy if there is currently raging the worst wildfire in the history of Nebraska? Over 700,000 acres have been burned in like the last 3 days. Yeah. Have you heard a single thing about it in the media? No, you haven't. No, you haven't. We've all been arguing about whether BB is dead or not, or whether the clearly AI videos are AI or not, while they literally burn our agriculture out from under us. Let's take a look. For 800,000 acres of breeding land for cattle have been scorched. That equals about 40,000 cows that now just can't even be raised in Nebraska. Not good. But beef prices aren't too bad right now, right? What's the price of a steak right now? Jesus fuck. I mean, we got 21 wetlands now, unique wetlands, key, vital to our ecosystems, are now at risk. Yada yada. But gee, I wonder if this has anything to do with the Elk Creek project currently going on in central Nebraska. Now granted, the project sites are nowhere, or no, they're not too close to the fires. But now the Elk Creek mining project is being operated through Neocorp, which received $10 million from the Department of Defense last year. They are drilling for unique scandium and titanium, basically stuff used in fighter jets. So, having said all that, I'm sure these fires are completely natural, not even newsworthy. We shouldn't even be talking about it right now, probably. Please go like and follow and share the post, because they are trying to end my channel. I love y'all. Bye. Stay safe.
Want to see something diabolically disgusting today? Let me learn something. Check this out. I don't know how this is legal, but this is a normal single unit of black printer ink, okay? It's $63 for a single unit. There's a 1/4 ounce of fluid in this, okay? There's 128 ounces in a gallon, so you'd have to times this price by 512 to see how much this costs per gallon. 63 times 512 is roughly $32,000 per gallon of this stuff, or roughly the price of a used mobile home down south. You're telling me a gallon of this crap is worth somebody's home down south? I'm not talking about a mansion for you in the back. I'm talking about just a normal mobile home. Or the price of 6 ounces of gold. Of course they got these things locked up. That's insane. This should be legal.
The OnlyFans owner passed away at 43 years old. You never know when your last day will be. Though he kind of had an idea. My only statement about him is going to be this. I hope that he repented and turned to Yeshua so he could be forgiven. That's not the main point of this video. The main point of this video is, number one, you never know when your last day will be. So you always want to make sure that you're walking with God. We saw Chuck Norris, who's a believer in Christ. He passed away a few days ago. Something important to note is this. For anybody that's either in that industry or that's thinking about getting into that industry. Revelation chapter 2 verse 20 says this, notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because you allow that woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophetess, to teach and seduce my servants to commit sexual immorality and eat things sacrificed to idols. Now, doing a Greek word study It's a chance just based off the commentary that this wasn't even her name, but because she acted in the character of Jezebel, or the spirit of Jezebel, Jesus called her that. But you see that word right there, sexual immorality?
I serve a righteous God.
Prayer.
And that is why we say our prayers.
And we ask the Lord to protect us.
We are all his children.
And we ask the Lord that his will be done.
But when I say children, I mean like the Holy Blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
Well, that Drewski skit, man. He didn't say no names, but you know everybody was drawing conclusions to who I guess he was parodying, and they did not like it at all. Yeah, I didn't say who he was, I guess, parodying, but people were drawing those conclusions. Y'all tell me down below, man. Who do y'all think he was? I guess portray. We know though.
Original AI is ancient. Demons are the original AI. They are spirit programs. They are reactive background processes. They are not creative. They've been around much longer than 1963. Solomon controlled at least 72 demons. And Solomon's time was much more advanced and much more organic, holistic technology. He controlled them with the seal of Solomon. He was the Lord of the ring of demons. In Islam, they're known as jinn or genies. This is where we get the genie in a lamp. They can also be installed and uninstalled from people's bodies. They are commonly installed in traumatic moments, like hospital birth and circumcision. Solomon uses them to build the temple, employing the Shamir, another organic AI. That's where we get carvings like this and this. This organic tech was worldwide. It's written about across many cultures. Fallen angels are demons, spirit programs, and people crossbred with them. People farm demons to make drone armies. Demons have been positioned throughout the world like watchdogs. Some of these clones even sever their ties with their origins.
This box or chest was found in Jeffrey Epstein's storage unit, and this picture was taken before Jeffrey Epstein's arrest. So according to the recently released documents, Jeffrey Epstein had storage units everywhere. You can see this is a message from 2004, where they're talking about how someone named Sherry is confirmed at 9:30 a.m. at the storage unit, still waiting to hear back from blank, and the subject is G-Max message, or Ghislaine Maxwell. And I combed through the Epstein files, and I was able to find some photographs from inside some of these storage units. As you can see here, this is a really ornate sort of box or chest that Epstein had in one of his units. There's actually a lot of furniture said to be inside of these storage units, like this piece as well. And as you can see in one of the messages, they actually list out some of the items in the unit, which include a white top table, a sofa with mattress, 8 bar chairs, 4 metal and 4 leather, 2 desks, metal frame, glass top, 2 chairs, speakers, 3 computers, and then screen from LSJ. I'm assuming that's screen from Little St. James. And they even talk about, the checkered carpet that's in there. It's an old bowling carpet. They're seeing if they need to dispose of the carpet. They even mention, speakers, a box with CDs, office chairs, rifles. There seems to have been so much evidence within these storage units, including right here you can see in 2015, this is from Richard Kahn, a guy who was integral in running Jeffrey's empire. And this comes right above that message I just read to you. They said old computers once wiped can be discarded. So my question is, what happened to those computers? Were they actually wiped? Because we know that even if you do wipe a device, people are still able to go back in and see what was on the device. So to me, if they were able to locate this computer or these computers, that could be a huge find in the case. However, to my knowledge, there has never been an actual search of one of Epstein's storage units. And I don't know if they're looking for them, if they're planning on doing something like this. I doubt that they are. But to me, this should have been something that was done years ago. And it's just another failure by the DOJ/FBI.
Yep.
Could somebody explain to me and this lady that's recording this video right now, because she's perplexed as well too. Why is there a statue of a chrome Lady Liberty in the middle of nowhere in Colorado in front of this creepy ass trailer that's in the middle of nowhere in Colorado as well? Bro, what is this?
What the hell? Anyone know who put this here?
That's what we want to know.
Why it's in the middle of nowhere?
Look at those homes. And in this trailer.
Private trailer.
Put it there.
My question is, why there? Why an open field in the middle of nowhere in Colorado? What's the symbolism behind this? Because it's not meant for the public eye. Because if it was, it would be like somewhere near Walmart or something like that. And then to have this over here watching it, bro. Because I know y'all hear about the creepy stuff that already happens in the Colorado airport, and then they have Lucifers that's out there, bro. And y'all know how, man, they stacked on top of each other. And then Colorado just had a massive power outage at the airport too, bro. It's the creepy stuff going on, bro. It's crazy. So what do y'all think this is? Do y'all think this is art? Do y'all think this is a message? Like, do y'all think this is a beacon for something? This is a signal for something to come, bro? Because this is not just a regular statue, bro. Like, crazy. But let me know down in the comments below, man. The shit this here, let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Dude, don't freak out, but this bug lives on your face.
Come again?
Demodex mites dig face first inside your pores. But don't freak out, they're harmless. They just eat your grease and dead skin on your face. But there is one thing you should be worried about. Don't cry, but they do wake up in the middle of the night to mate on your face. Yeah, now you know.
Whoa.
But they're harmless. And they live on all of you. Live with it. Like if you want a part 2 of things you don't know that live on your body.
They're on my face right now, bro. What the hell?
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life. You have to have life insurance policy for 2 years before they'll pay out for a suicide. Brain-eating amoeba exist, and you can contract it from swimming in lakes or tainted tap water. They live in the US and UK. Female dragonflies fake their own death to prevent rape. Before modern medicine, there was this illness called mercy. Basically, if you had it, you were puking your own feces, and you were sure to die in great pain. It is caused by obstruction in intestines. Most people trapped in the Titanic, as it went under, did not die of drowning. Rather, they were killed by water blasting into the ship's hull at great speed. At those pressures, the water would cut and crush you before it even had the chance to enter your body. Death by strangulation can turn teeth pink. The stress on the pulp chambers causes it to hemorrhage, so the blood colors the inside. Comment on this video and let me know which fact is the most disturbing.
A bunch of teeth turning pink. I did not know that was even possible, man.
Humans actually came from Mars.
Okay, recently the NASA rover Perseverance found organic matter suggesting that life existed on this planet 3.5 billion years ago. Also, the redness of Mars is believed to be a nuclear winter, which is a phenomenon caused by nuclear weapons being used on a planet. Well, there's a theory that human life actually started on Mars. And the reason that we are now on Earth is because we drained all of Mars's natural resources and had no choice at all but to come to Earth. However, if you look at the current situation on Earth, it probably won't be long until Earth turns into Mars.
What do you guys think, man? I thought the whole point, like Elon Musk isn't like he always trying to, reinvent ways to go to Mars. They said some nuclear stuff had already happened, so that kind of has me wondering, man. We shouldn't be, I guess, trying to migrate to other planets, bro. Just need to stay here on Earth. What do you guys think, man? We was on Mars first? Alright.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. Sometimes you laugh, talk, and cry in sleep. It's often a spirit sitting beside you in bed. You are more likely to be bitten by someone in New York than to be bitten by a shark. A human head remains conscious for 20 seconds after being decapitated. If you search up this number on Google, you'll find people with their heads in fridges. Gelatin is made out of bones. That's right.
What?
The melted marshmallow in your hot chocolate is melted animal bone. It's good stuff. You have no way of really knowing if everyone experiences reality and consciousness the same way you do. If a panda finds a fresh carcass, they'll eat it. And last but not least, your phone is likely spying on you right now as you're watching this. Yeah, there's a lot more. Like for part 8.
Is gelatin really made out of bones, man? We're going to have to check that out. I kind of believe that one. Or they said marshmallows made out of animal bones too. What the hell we putting in our system, Seekers? You never know what you're eating nowadays.
Know these facts? The Boeing factory is so large they had to install a one-of-a-kind air circulation system to stop clouds from forming inside of the building.
Whoa.
This is the world's smallest drawbridge in Bermuda. The US Navy is known to have used Xbox controllers to control the periscopes on submarines. James Cameron was homeless when he wrote The Terminator. He sold the rights for $1 on the condition that he was the one to direct the movie. A race was held in 1888 between a pigeon and a bee for 3 miles, where the B won by 25 seconds. Camels have 3 eyelids that helps protect their eyes from the blowing sand. Cherries are dried with helicopters. It would take you 18 months to walk the Great Wall of China. The USA speaks more than 350 different languages. Scientists are out there making arguments that we may have more than 5 senses, one of them being magnetoreception, which is the ability to sense magnetic fields, and the other is chronoception, which is the ability to sense time passing.
Here's some everyday life hacks you need to know. Have you ever had a tight ring get stuck on your finger? Well, all you have to do is grab some string and tuck it underneath the ring, and use that same string and keep wrapping it around your finger. Then all you have to do is grab the other side and start pulling, and it will magically remove the ring. Now, who else hates when you have tape on your paper and you end up just ripping it? Well, in order to not do that, all you have to do is grab the tape on both sides and pull really hard, which then causes the tape to be removed very easy, and your paper still intact. Now, if your house key ever breaks in your lock, get yourself a hot glue stick and then place it inside of the lock. Wait for it to dry a little bit and then pull it right out.
Gruesome facts you didn't know. Part 82. Weighing nearly 90 pounds, the costume used for the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz was made of real lion skin and fur, as well as human hair mixed in. The South Fork of the Chicago River was given the nickname Bubbly Creek. It would bubble methane and hydrogen sulfide gas, which was due to meatpackers dumping blood and entrails into the water.
Here are some things you were definitely never meant to see.
Creepy.
Or know. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, let's start here. What the heck is? This is an image captured from inside of a house in America. Now, it appears to be a gigantic eagle-type bird thing. But when did they get that big? No, that ain't no eagle. That's Lucifer's pet bird. World doomed. Next, I bet you didn't know that elephants can actually hear out of their feet. So what you're saying is those abnormally large ears are not the only place an elephant can hear. Nature! You got bees can actually live inside of your eye. And to make the nightmare worse, this has happened before to a Taiwanese woman in 2019. When a doctor found not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 bees living inside of her eye, feeding off her tears. What kind of horror movie shit was that? To make a deal, if you didn't know about any of these, you have to share it.
Hey man, leave a like, man, if y'all never even heard of that before, man. A bee living in somebody's eyes, but not 1, 2, 3, 4 bees, and they were living off of her tears. That's mind-blowing, man. I wouldn't even think something like that is possible. I'm definitely going to have to freaking check up on that story. Saw those crabs just came out of nowhere. What the hell? And that Red Sea. Are those signs, man?
The most unnerving facial reconstructions of John and Jane Does. You can first look at the Salem County John Doe. These remains were found in 1979, I believe, in the New Jersey area under a pile of logs and grass. Kind of freaks me out about some of the classic facial reconstructions like this is that the teeth are original. They're the same teeth from the skull that this was reconstructed over. Reconstruction is only named in the records that I found as Becca. Her story being that she was discovered in Albuquerque in 1991 while hanging in a motel bathroom. But these are another type of reconstruction that I do not like, solely because all of what's depicted here in the illustration is of the actual remains, just they've drawn the eyes open. 1991, Harris County, Jane Doe. December 15th, 1991, when she was found in Houston, Texas, allegedly stuffed into the bottom of a cardboard box. It's a different style of reconstruction, where it is an actual photograph of the body, it's just that the eyes have been photoshopped into the open. If cases of the unsolved or similar stories to this are of interest to you, we do have additional information on the show.
This is some uncanny valley vibes. Those last meals, man.
Back in March, dismembered body parts were found scattered across Long Island, and the victims were eventually identified as 59-year-old Donna Connolly and her partner, 53-year-old Malcolm Craig Brown. Long after, Stephen Brown, Jeffrey Mackey, Amanda Wallace, and Alexis Nieves were arrested in connection to their deaths and charged with first-degree hindering prosecution, tampering with evidence, and concealment of a human corpse. They were all released on bail in mid-March with GPS monitors. But then in May, Jeffrey Mackey and Alexis Nieves were charged with murder. The Suffolk County DA said that the victims had participated in the planning of a gas station robbery back in February, and they allegedly planned it while Mackey and Nieves executed it. This ended up leading to a dispute between Malcolm and Donna and the 4 suspects, and that dispute ultimately led to their death. It is believed that Nieves and Mackey murdered Donna and Malcolm, while Wallace and Brown helped to dismember and dispose of the bodies. Mackey and Nieves have pleaded not guilty and are maintaining their innocence. But now, both Amanda Wallace and Stephen Brown, who is Malcolm's cousin, have pleaded guilty. This week, Amanda Wallace pleaded guilty to 5 felony charges and named Mackey and Nieves as the perpetrators. And then on Thursday, Brown pleaded guilty to 6 felony charges, admitting to participating in a plot to kill the victims and conceal their deaths. Both Wallace and Brown maintain that they did not commit the actual murders. And it is being said that they are both cooperating with authorities. They have yet to be sentenced, but because they are cooperating and have agreed to a plea deal, their sentence will be reduced than if they pled not guilty. Meanwhile, Mackey and Nieves have been charged with murder and are maintaining their innocence.
Really weird fun facts that you might find pretty damn interesting.
So who's telling
Number
what?
1, banging your head against a wall for an hour burns 150 calories. Number 2, approximately 40,000 Americans are injured by toilets each year. Number 3, there's a higher chance of you being elected President of the United States than winning the lottery. Number 4, an average of 100 people choke to death on ballpoint pens each year. Number 5, it is harder to be an employee at Walmart than a student at Harvard, because Walmart has a lower acceptance rate. Number 6, human birth control pills work on gorillas. Number 7, there are 2 million millionaires in the United States. I am not one of them. And number 8, like fingerprints, every tongue print is different from person to person.
Wow, what the hell? We have tongue patterns? What do you know, man? The hell? 2 million
Fun
millionaires?
facts about the human body PT.2. If someone is sleeping and you blow on their eyes won't react. But if they're awake, they will flutter a bit. That's how you check if someone is really sleeping. If you drink nothing but purple Powerade for 3 days straight, your poop will turn neon green. Your sense of balance is strongly linked to your eyes, and you may notice it's harder to keep your balance with them closed even if you're standing still. Women are actually programmed to forget the pain of childbirth after a few months or so. If this didn't happen, most women would only end up having 1 child, which would eventually lower the population.
That makes sense.
Wholesome facts that'll make your day slightly better, part 1. When a human sees a puppy, a chemical called dopamine is released in the brain. Elephants also release dopamine when they see people, meaning that they think we're cute in the same way we think puppies are cute. There's a YouTube channel called Dad, How Do I that teaches young people things that would typically be taught by a father figure. From how to change a tire to how to tie a tie, fans of the channel think it's super helpful. When you're on a walk with your dog and they stop to take a dump, you may notice that your fluffy friend is staring at you as they poop. They do this because they're in a defenseless position and they're trusting you to keep them safe. There are more public libraries in the US than McDonald's. After the horrific events of 9/11, a small Kenyan tribe known as the Maasai people gave 14 cows to the US in their support. The man who played Mickey Mouse ended up marrying the woman who played Minnie Mouse, meaning that true love actually exists.
That's true love right there, man. Who would have thought, bro?
Most of the comments are worried about that little guy, but he's fine. The snake's in trouble though. Meet the mongoose. They only get up to about 10 pounds. But let me tell you, that is the most ruthless 10 pounds in the world. It's like a hyper-aggressive, condensed version of John Wick that's a fully carnivorous hunter. And they are literally designed to fight snakes. Specifically venomous snakes. Like they prefer venomous snakes. King cobras, regular cobras, rattlesnakes, vipers, it's on sight. Fear? Never heard of her, but basically the reaction speed is faster than a cat, so they can avoid all of the snake's bites. And once it gets close enough, it'll bite the head of the snake, crushing the skull. But the crazy thing is, even if they do take a bite, it's not that big of a deal. They have a protein in their body that binds to the protein in snake venom and digests it, like food. So usually a venomous snake bite will just knock them out for like 15 or 20 minutes, and then it's on to round 2. And as always, follow for more facts. Disturbing facts.
Damn, mongooses, bro. They have black Air Force energy. They try to run the feed with those venomous snakes. The venom don't even do nothing to them, man. We're learning our ass seekers.
Disney that will leave you shocked. 18-year-old actress who voiced Snow White was paid less than $1,000 to do it. She also was not credited. Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland used real skulls in its set design when it first opened. Actress who played Lilo in Lilo and Stitch also played Samara in The Ring. Part of your world was almost cut from The Little Mermaid because the chair of Walt Disney Studios was afraid that kids would think that the song was boring. Don from Beauty and the Beast in the 1995 version was the first male villain in any Disney princess movie. After Finding Nemo came out, there was a problem with kids around the world flushing their fish down the toilet so that they could go back to the ocean.
What?
The music on the It's a Small World ride never, ever turns off. Follow for more facts.
That's Snow White actress, man. That's so messed up that Disney did that.
Police have arrested a Chucky doll for threatening members of the public with a knife. This month, police in Mexico arrested a doll. Terrifyingly, they had been made aware of a Chucky doll who, along with its owner, were threatening the public in Monclova. If you're not already aware, the doll comes from the 1988 film Child's Play. In the movie, the serial killer turns into the doll, which then begins a terrifying crime spree. The owner of the doll has only been identified as Carlos N. He was reportedly scaring the public with the doll, threatening them with a knife and demanding money off them. Both Carlos and the doll were charged with disturbing the peace and putting others' integrity at risk. The doll was handcuffed and taken to the police station. They both had mugshots taken, and there has been some controversy over whether or not the officers were taking their job seriously. The police officer who put cuffs onto the Chucky doll has been reprimanded.
I was about to say that to him, like, why are you arresting a doll? Like, come on, man. Yeah, they have to take their job way more seriously.
Took place at an ATM in Arkansas when the machine dispensed a kitten instead of money. The bank's security guard was making his usual rounds when he noticed a faint meow and realized it was coming from inside the ATM. It was unclear if this animal was just seeking shade or trying to pull off some clever ATM heist, but either way, the security guard figured that the cash should be removed as soon as possible and called the fire department right away. Firefighters arrived on scene, and with a little bit of work, they successfully made a cat withdrawal. Thankfully, while he was a bit grumpy from the ordeal and required some nourishment, the kitten was overall healthy. He was named Cash and taken to the Fort Smith Animal Haven, where a veterinarian placed him on a care plan to recuperate and gain some weight. He was scared at first, but he settled in quickly. And as his personality came out, it became clear that Cash was actually a super friendly and cuddly little guy. After some socialization in a foster setting, Cash was adopted by a local doctor, and he's now living a much more comfortable life away from any banks or ATMs. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
16-year-old Allie.
How did the cat get into the ATM in the first place? I know cats are flexible, but beginning that little small, just holding the ATM, he's living up to his name, Cash.
Influencer vanished off her school bus, and she has never been seen since. This footage is from her high school the day of. It is April 26th, 2010. Well, this footage would mark the last time she was ever actually seen. She ended up getting off her bus stop right on this very street that you see behind me, and this was seen on camera at 56 p.m. And she had already texted her mom that she was going to be walking from their home to her job, which is only about 10 or so minutes away. But at 2:57, just a minute after she got off the bus, she sent a text to her friend. Then her phone mysteriously turned off, and nobody has seen her since. Years into this case, there has only ever been one witness who came forward who said they might have seen a girl who fit her description talking to somebody in a white.
Hard to hear, but that's why.
Disappeared off the earth, man.
Now, supposedly during a big storm on the beach, a giant monster came out. Some people say it was special effects, while others say that it was a giant monster named Cthulhu. Scientists say big creatures like this can't exist on land because their bones wouldn't be able to support their body. But in the ocean, it's possible. All I know is I'm moving to Mars. Let me know in the comments below if you think this is real or fake. Was it really a monster, or are they covering up saying it was effects? And like this video if you want more giant creatures caught on tape.
Is that effects or was that real, bro? Cthulhu?
Scariest bird sounds.
Seen some videos on
not
that.
With these scary bird sounds again.
Black-collared starling.
Oh, what does that sound like?
I thought it was a cat. Oh god, I sound
That's
like
a
I'm on the
baby.
aeroplane. Okay, right, we've gathered this one. Is that real? Pico, you don't want to pick him off. Wait, that sounds like that alarm, doesn't it? Like the bloody, I don't know what it's called.
It does.
We know what the shoe bill sounds like. Call of Duty. Look. Are these extinct or are they still alive? Because I'd love to see one in person. Look.
What the?
Cassowary. Oh, this is the deep throat one, isn't it? Apparently these are very dangerous, you know. Everyone was saying that they're quite scary to be near. White bellbird. A white bellbird? It doesn't even sound real, does it?
It doesn't.
It sounds like a spaceship coming to get me is what it sounds like. Oh!
This is some dark stuff going on around the world that the public definitely doesn't know about. Up first, humanity has wiped out 60% of the animal population since 1970. Just think about that for a second. 60% of all animal population has been wiped out. This is absolutely crazy, and we use all of these resources for food and clothes and just stuff like that. But when you hear that we killed 60% of the animal population, it kind of makes you think, right? Next up, we all know the mega city that Saudi Arabia is building called Neom. But did you know Saudi Arabia is sentencing people to death who refuse to move out of their homes so they could actually build the mega city Neom? And their relatives are being sentenced to multiple decades of prison time just for protesting and posting their support to the cause on social media. This is absolutely sickening, and I can't believe nobody is talking about this. This next one is going to keep us all up at night. But bacterial resistance to antibiotics is at an alarming level. There has already been instances of pan-antibiotic resistant strains of bacteria. This can throw us back to the pre-antibiotic era, which will effectively mean if you catch an infection, you will die. Just like in the 1400s. Finally, women are going missing from Indian reservations across some of the United States. Many are young women and are probably being used for sex trafficking. I wonder why they're taking Indian women from Indian reservations. And I wonder why sick stuff happens like this on Earth every single day.
Someone said I should go and watch Chimp Crazy, and I like to think a bungee jump off the Brooklyn Bridge would have been lesser to my blood pressure. If you want the spark notes, it's basically Tiger King but with chimps, but somehow even worse than that. I thought it was common knowledge that chimps are rageaholic chainsaws with thumbs, free will, and no morality to tie them down. It's a whole part-time predator with the Punisher skill set and cannibalistic tendencies. I do not get how in the decade of 2020, people still think it's a good idea to invite this reality check of the animal kingdom into your living room. You've probably heard the horror stories of people that tried playing house with a chimp and then found out, but here's a story you might not have heard. Once upon a time, there was a place called Chimp Party. Well, actually, it was renamed the Missouri Primate Foundation, but that sounds way too professional for what was going on in there, so Chimp Party. And what it was basically a puppy mill but for chimps in Festus, Missouri. As bad as you think it is, probably worse. Basically breeding chimps to sell as exotic pets or rent for TV or commercials or whatever. Anyway, one day the chimps got out. Actually, it happened more than once, but this time in 2001, they escaped and ended up pressing a nearby family. A family that included 18-year-old Jason Coates. The chimps were throwing rocks, they chased him into a car, it was fully chimped out. Now, you know Jason a real one, because stuff didn't get serious until they started throwing his dog around. He was not letting that slide. So the story goes, Jason ran out the car, got into the house, and came back with the mouse tool. He tried scaring them, but when one of the chimps, Susie, charged him, he sent her the dog backwards. But here's where it gets wicked. Not only did Jason get arrested and charged with chimp murder, not only was he put in jail with grown men for refusing to be chimp bait, not only did he miss the birth of his first child because he was in there, he would be registered as a felon because of it until only a couple years ago. I love animals, I really do, but if a chimp's coming at me with malicious intent, well actually any intent, and I got that pole on me, either the chimp's getting it or I'm self-medicating with a bullet. For 20 years he was a convicted felon for the crime of not letting a chimp peel him like a banana. And we know that would have happened because Susie had a son named Travis. Yeah, the same Travis that literally defaced a woman. That's a literal travesty. Yeah, moral of the story, chimping ain't easy, but it won't stop some people from trying.
People.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your day. Firstly, you know these vacuum toilets that are most commonly used on planes and cruise ships? Well, there have been many reports of them sucking the rectum out of people when they flush. Next, this is just disappointing. 1 in 4 Americans actually believe that the sun rotates around the earth. Now, studies show that the average person will wait 5 months of their lifetime for red lights to turn green. You know when you're watching a movie or TV show and you hear these laugh tracks in the background? Well, most of them were recorded in the 50s, so you're hearing dead people laugh. This will ruin your childhood. The Red Power Ranger, Ricardo Medina, pleaded guilty to killing his roommate with a sword. Finally, you are now closer to death than you were when you started this video.
Creepy facts.
Here are some cool things about animals that you probably didn't know. Ants will form living rafts with their bodies. Some will drown so others can float. Bearded dragons can change their sex in the egg depending on the temperature. Flying snakes will flatten their bodies and glide through the air like living frisbees. That is absolutely terrifying. Koalas have fingerprints that are so human-like that they have been confused in police investigations for humans. Wombats poop cubes, and not only that, they stack them like bricks to mark their territory. Male antechinus mate non-stop for 14 hours, then die from immune system collapse. A female giant panda is only capable of conceiving a cub for 24 to 72 hours once a year. Salmon return to their birthplace to spawn, then die. Arctic terns migrate 50,000 miles annually to take advantage of both the summer conditions in the Arctic and in Antarctica. Wisdom the albatross is still laying eggs at nearly 70 years old and has been tracked since 1956. Wasps save $417 billion in crops each year by eating pests. Pistol shrimp stun prey with bubble shockwaves, disrupting small reef ecosystems. Termites do actually eat wood faster when listening to rock music. Penguins will actually nap thousands of times a day, which helps them survive these brutal Antarctic conditions they live in. Parasitic wasps will inject spiders with venom and force them to build baby nests. Damn.
30 men could beat up Mike Tyson, so 100 could definitely murk a gorilla. But Tyson would physically ruin at least one and probably some of those men. And that's where the problem's at. Let's break it down. Gorillas are non-violent and actually go out of their way to avoid conflict. 100 men pulling up for smoke would have this energy. And speaking of energy, gorillas have terrible endurance. They fight the way they... The fades they run are like how they're hung, not long at all. You have to remember, the main thing that made humans such a nightmare for the thumbless was the power of friendship and stamina. The gorilla's liable to catch a heart attack. Also, I'm gonna be real with you, y'all overrate gorillas by an insane degree. I know that because this right here should have never been a debate. A gorilla's not finna run through 100 men. And also, y'all talking like this a movie fight scene. This ain't 100 one-on-ones, this 1 on 100. Jujutsu Kaisen level jumping's the only outcome. 1 hyena to a lion is a chew toy. 20 is a life lesson. Now, there's a catch. Gorillas have a stronger bite force than a grizzly bear, and a gorilla batter arm to the back would probably crack your constitution like a glow stick. This is what 100 people looks like. 100 men could kill a gorilla. 100 men could not kill a gorilla without some meeting Batman's parents, especially if the gorilla's fighting for its life. Someone's getting their eyes gouged out, someone's getting their arm bit through, and someone's going to be able to use Face ID 20 feet away. Now it's a question of altruism over ability. The bystander effect would do numbers, and no one's going to want to be the guy to get KIA'd at first contact. So to recap, 100 men could kill a gorilla. 100 men wouldn't kill a gorilla, they get sabotaged by self-preservation. The gorilla would be overwhelmed or at some point exhausted, but not before getting absolutely medieval on some unlucky men. We have strayed so far from the days of Harambe. The more you know, for now.
Child marriage used to be legal in America, and the story of this marriage is one of the most disturbing things I've ever read about. This is 9-year-old Eunice Winstead, and this is her legal husband at the time, Charlie Johns. So on January 19th, 1937, Eunice, who was 9 years old at the time, left her mother's house. On that morning, she told her parents that she was going out to buy herself a new doll. But instead, the 9-year-old was headed to the courthouse to meet her 22-year-old future husband, Charlie Johns. So at the time of this affair, there was no age limit on marriage in Tennessee. I mean, technically, someone could have married an adult and a baby, if they paid off the minister and got everything to go through properly.
Sick.
And so on that day, 22-year-old Charlie offered a local Baptist preacher named Walter $1, which equates to around $21 today. And the preacher accepted the offer, came into the church, and married the 9-year-old to the 22-year-old. I mean, obviously, words cannot possibly describe how disturbing images like these are. Now, at first, both Charlie and Eunice's parents disapproved of the marriage, but after some thought, they eventually approved the marriage, and they just allowed them to live together and be married. Now, sadly, Eunice dropped out of school at the age of 9 after her husband, Charlie, pulled her out, and she began giving birth to their children at age 15. They'd eventually have 8 children together. I just cannot believe that shit like this used to happen in America. Comment your thoughts on this below.
She went to a party and ended up
freezer. Nobody knows how, and the hotel kept silent about it. Her name was Kanika. She was 19 from Chicago, and one night she told her mom that she was gonna go bowling with her friends, but instead she goes to a hotel to a party. Her friends call her mom saying that they lost track of her at the party, and her mom's like, wait, what party? They told her that they left Kanika in the hotel hallway while they went to go back to the room to grab her phone and the car keys, and when they came back, she was gone. Her mom, Teresa, she was pissed, yeah, but mostly she was super worried. She rushes to the hotel and she is begging the staff to show her the hotel surveillance footage so that she can find her daughter, but they refuse, and they tell her that she has to file a missing persons report first. So she goes to the police, and guess what they say? You gotta wait a while until she shows up. Like, what? That's giving we don't care. Her family starts banging on the hotel doors, desperate to find her, and instead of helping, the hotel calls the police for disturbing the peace. And when the police finally decide to do their job, it has already been 20 hours. And when they check the cameras, they see Kanika. She's alone, stumbling through the hallways, clearly intoxicated. And then at one point, she wanders into a restricted kitchen area and then just disappears. Hours later, a hotel employee opens that freezer in the same kitchen and finds her body inside. Face down, her left arm is pinched underneath her. She has a shoe that's missing and a cut on her foot. And then her shirt, it is pulled under her jacket, exposing her chest. Now, go ahead and tell me how that's an accident. The one area with no cameras in the exact same place where she ends up. That's not a coincidence. That is somebody who knew the layout of that hotel. Someone who knew exactly where the cameras were and weren't. But the police, they still ruled it an accident, said that she just froze to death. But her mom does not believe that. She said, and I quote, I feel like they helped my child. And honestly, I do too, because if the hotel would have shown that footage from the start, if police hadn't made her wait, maybe Kanika would have been saved. But what do you guys think? Was it an accident or a cover-up?
Yes, this really did happen. In 2015, a man woke up to a strange post-it note sitting on his desk. On it was a to-do list that he didn't recognize in handwriting that didn't look like his. Since he was up late the night before doing some work, he assumed he must have written out the list when he was half asleep and kind of forgot about it, so he just crumples it up and throws it away. 2 weeks later, he wakes up to dozens of these post-it notes all over his wall, and they're all blank except for one that, in the same weird handwriting, says, "Our landlord isn't letting me talk to you." Now feeling totally freaked out that some crazy person is crawling around his apartment at night, he starts looking for signs of a break-in, but there aren't any. Instead of calling the police, he shares his experience on Reddit asking for help, and one user's comment literally saves his life. Turns out the man was writing the notes to himself and then forgetting, because his brain was slowly dying due to a carbon monoxide leak that was only discovered because a user suggested he install a detector.
Man, Reddit's
everyday things we do that feel illegal but are not. Leaving a store without buying anything. Sometimes I just buy something cheap just because it feels so weird. And how about using the restroom without buying anything? It just feels so wrong. Going in sick to work when you're actually sick. For some reason, I think like my boss thinks I'm lying to him. Next, asking a salesperson about an item and end up not buying it. I sometimes wish I apologized to them for wasting their time. And finally, leaving class when the bell rings and not when the teacher dismisses you.
That was the
If you
one
ever feel like
thing,
you're being
bro.
haunted,
That's annoying.
run. Or call Zankui. Click the plus drop like, tag a friend, share with 3, or you might become haunted. Zankui is a demon hunter, also the king of the ghosts. Zankui is there to protect people from the ghosts and anything supernatural. He also commands an army of 80,000 demons, not someone to mess with. When Zankui was alive, he was an extremely bright student, but sadly committed suicide. The ruler of the underworld saw the potential in Zankui and gave him unlimited power, making him the king of the ghosts and the demon hunter. If you made it this far, comment down below who I should do next.
Haunted dolls from
story.
around the world. America. Annabelle.
Annabelle, yup. We got movies about her.
Japan. Okiku.
Kiku. Looks like human hair.
Singapore. The Barbie doll on the girl's shrine. Australia. Letter.
Seen her before, yup.
Brazil. Farfan.
That didn't even look like a doll. What the hell is that? Like a pig.
Canada. Mandy the doll.
What Mandy doing?
Italy. Cuba the doll.
Oh, we
He killed her mum so she wouldn't find out about her secret, but now the whole world knows. It was the 3rd of March 2020 when police were called to do a welfare check on a property in Ohio at around 1 p.m. Brenda Powell lived in the house. She was the 50-year-old mother of Sydney Powell. And Brenda worked at Akron Children's Hospital and was such a grafter, and they absolutely loved her there. She treated the kids at the hospital like they were her own kids, always so loving and caring. Now, the welfare check came about after Brenda had been on the phone with Sydney's former school, the University of Mount Union. Now, during the phone call, the member of staff that she was on the line to suddenly heard banging and screaming, and then the line went dead. And he actually tried to call her number back, and it just rang out and out. And after ringing back twice and getting no answer, he knew he had to ring the police. When officers arrived at the property, they found Brenda Powell in a pool of blood on the floor, and tragically, after being rushed to hospital, she was pronounced dead. Investigators knew they needed to work out what had led to this horrific murder. Now, the conversation that Brenda had been having on the day with the school on the phone was absolutely vital to finding out who was responsible. Brenda had in fact been made aware on the call that 19-year-old Sydney, who was, as I said, her daughter, had in fact been kicked out of the school, and she was no longer a student there. It was no coincidence that it was during this phone call that the mum had been murdered. Now, when police found her body at her home, the only other person at the scene was Sydney, her daughter, and Sydney had an interesting tale to tell. She told police there'd been a break-in, she heard a noise, and apparently her mum had told her to run for her life. She said she'd heard screaming and then had run back to her mum and found Brenda on the floor. Now, that just sounds suspicious to me. Like, why would you run for your life because you know there's a danger, hear screaming, and decide to run straight back into that danger? After being questioned, it was very clear that the officers were not buying this story that Sydney was telling, so she actually started to tell a different tale. She would try and plead insanity. She said she could barely remember anything from that day. She just remembered crying and feeling like she needed to run away. Brenda had suffered 30 stab wounds and had also been struck in the head. This was obviously a very brutal attack. But Sydney's defense in court tried to claim that she was suffering from an undiagnosed schizophrenic episode and that she killed her mum while experiencing like a psychotic break. However, it is very rare for people with schizophrenia to act violently, and it was concluded that Sydney had been exaggerating her symptoms to try and get away with this murder. She was thankfully found guilty of murder and given life in prison, but is eligible for parole after 15 years.
Shortly after this photo was taken, the beautiful bride would be killed. I'm True Crime Caitlin, and this is the death of Samantha Miller. On the 28th of April 2023, 37-year-old Eric Hutchinson and 34-year-old Samantha Miller finally tied the knot in front of 120 guests on Folly Beach in North Carolina. They had a beautiful ceremony and spent the rest of the evening celebrating. At around 10 p.m, Eric and Samantha, along with two other people, climbed into a golf cart and began to make their way back to their accommodation nearby, when they would be ploughed into by a car going 65 miles an hour, 40 miles over the speed limit. Driving that car was 26-year-old Jamie Lee Komorowski, who was drunk out of her mind over 3 times the legal limit. Eric and the two other passengers were severely injured, whereas Samantha, who was still wearing her wedding dress, would die at the scene. Upon the policeman's arrival, Jamie Lee, who was drunk and slurring her words, told the police that something had crashed into her. He would be arrested on several charges, including 3 DUIs and reckless homicide. Jamie would spend the next 10 months in jail. However, in March of this year, she was released on a $150,000 bond and was placed under house arrest. She must abide to strict conditions, including not leaving the house unless it is for medical attention or a court date. She must wear a tracker around her ankle, all while she awaits trial. She's expressed no remorse for what she did to Samantha, and allegedly in a jail call between her and her dad, she was complaining that this was going to ruin her life. In another call, her and her sister are chatting, where Jamie says that within the next 2 years, she should be living her best life. When her trial finally comes, if she is convicted of all of her charges, she could face up to 25 years in prison. Sadly, Eric and Samantha's mum Lisa are in a messy court dispute over Samantha's inheritance. Eric has filed a wrongful death lawsuit, which could see him receiving upwards of millions of dollars for Samantha's death. And Lisa, who has challenged the validity of her daughter and son-in-law's marriage, has said that she believes she should be the sole beneficiary. Allegedly, Eric has offered to give Lisa half of any money that he receives. However, he and Lisa are sadly going through a very messy legal battle.
Yeah, they arguing over money, man. He offered to give half and they still argue? Well, money, bro. It ruins everything.
She's convinced she went on a date with a possible serial killer. This girl named Tiffany Matthews made a video talking about when she was in college, she went on a date with this guy and immediately started to notice red flags. She met this guy at a bar, they immediately hit it off and ended up exchanging phone numbers. They had their first date, and when he picked her up, it was in a very nice, expensive car, but she found it strange that he didn't know how to work the car. For example, he didn't know how to open the car door, and if that's your car, wouldn't you know how to open the door at least? So she just assumed that this wasn't his car. Everything went well for the first date, and since Tiffany was going to be busy with studying, they weren't able to plan a second date right away. Once they were able to find time to get together, he suggested that they go to a park late at night. She agrees, and when he shows up, he's about an hour and a half late, and he's in a completely different car. This second car that he is driving is completely run down, and immediately he tells her it's because he has dogs and he doesn't want his dogs to get his nice car dirty, and he was running late because he was getting gas. They then make their way to Gasworks Park, which is in Seattle, Washington. While on this date, Tiffany started to feel very uneasy about this guy because he started making jokes about unaliving her and told her that he was so excited to see her that he wore 2 different pairs of shoes. This park that they were at was very secluded and obviously very dark since they were there at night, and she was feeling very uneasy because he was still continuing with these jokes, so she ended up lying to him, telling him that her dad was a cop and that her roommates had her location, which was true. He replied to her saying, well, how accurate is your location, which is a very odd thing to say. At this point, Tiffany is thinking of any kind of way she can get away from this date, so she just tells him that she needs to study and needs to go back home. Tiffany does not want to go back into this car with this guy and would rather just walk home, but then she remembers that she left her purse in his car, so she has no choice but to go back to his car. When they arrived at his car, she opened the door and grabbed her purse, and she just happened to look up at the gas gauge, and it was nearly empty. At this point, Tiffany felt her heart drop because he had told her he was running late because he was getting gas, so now that she knew that he was lying, what was he really doing that whole time? Luckily, right next to this guy's car was another car parked with a couple inside, so Tiffany knocks on their window and asks if she can wait with them until her ride comes because she's feeling unsafe on her date. As soon as that guy saw her talking to the car next to him, he immediately sped off, she blocked him, and never spoke to him again. If you're ever in a situation like this, it's always important to trust your intuition because this could have ended badly.
Insane facts about your eyes you never knew. Blue eyes are the result of a genetic mutation that occurred in Europe 10,000 years ago. The rarest eye color in the world is green. Only 2% of people have them. Your eyes can detect over 10 million different colors. You'll blink over 630 million times in your life. After all that blinking, no wonder why our eyes feel tired and irritated sometimes. That's why I've been using Theratears eye drops to keep my eyes hydrated after spending hours on my phone. The screen eye drops provide instant relief from dry eyes during the day caused by staring at screens for too long. And before bed, I use Theratears overnight eye drops to wake up with hydrated eyes that don't feel bad in the morning. Go to the link in my bio and give your eyes the break they deserve with Theratears eye drops.
Here are some kids who won Halloween. This little boy went as his grandpa, and that has to be the cutest thing I've ever seen. But it goes hand in hand with this little girl who went as her grandma. And this kid nailed his Russell costume from Up. This little girl and her dog totally won Halloween. Beauty and her Beast. And this kid went as the Stanley Cup. And here we have a little Beetlejuice. This kid went as a jet, and honestly, this costume is pretty cool. This little guy went as a toy soldier.
Oh yeah, he won.
And this kid as a gingerbread man is so iconic. Here we have the Squid Games girl. And this baby as Oscar the Grouch has made my entire day.
This is why you should always lock your doors as soon as you get home.
Black 30.
There's a guy outside.
The police was called and the man was left alone after his family explains he just has mental problems.
This man tried opening the door. Can you imagine what would have happened if that door was unlocked?
How rare is your body?
Only 5% of people in the world can lick their elbow. Red hair is the rarest hair color in the world, and only about 2% of people have it. Next is the double row of eyelashes. Only about 1% of people have this, and it actually causes them to cry more. Only 5% of people have this extra hole near their ear, and it's actually proof that humans once had gills. And if you have 2 different colored eyes, you are super rare because only 0.1% of people have this.
How rare is your body, Seekers? I can do the elbow day. I'm pretty sure I don't have a hole next to my ear, so I don't have any power-ups.
The craziest torture methods ever. Part 29. The bastinado. Dating back to 1537 in Europe and 960 in China. Literally the act of beating the shit out of somebody's feet. Typically performed with canes or sticks. They made sure to avoid the bone structure of the ball and heel. They went straight for that soft tenderloin meat right in the middle. Fuck that.
A warning is now being issued for the rise of the XL Bully cats, and people are being urged not to buy them. The mutant breed is being created by breeders in the US by mixing the gene that causes hairlessness in Sphinx cats with the gene that is responsible for short legs in Munchkin cats. And now they are spreading to the UK after being bred to resemble the XL Bully dog, which as we all know was banned in the country last year. The reason animal experts are urging people not to buy them is because they suffer from a number of serious health issues. Their short legs make it harder for them to jump, put them at a disadvantage if attacked, and can lead to painful arthritis. They have no whiskers, which can cause problems with communication and navigation. Their lack of fur gives them limited ability to regulate their body temperature and can even get burnt when out in the sun. And experts even say that this breed is likely to have a life expectancy at least 6 years shorter than the average cat. They're urging all cat owners to put health over aesthetics and not to drive this experimental breed.
A lot of people messing with nature, man. You're crossing the line when you do that. I never got that notion, man, just trying to mess with nature. That's not the way it was intended to be. You can't just make up a cat species. Look at the result. That's an edit.
These 3 kids are pure evil. In 1966, in the southwestern town of Greenwich, Connecticut, there were 3 ill-tempered kids, Damien, Caleb, and Axel. The townspeople called them the Little Satans. From the age of 5, the Little Satans began to show a cruel side, frequently capturing small animals in the town's woods. The other kids in town were terrified and kept their distance. However, the parents of these 3 believed it was just harmless childhood mischief. Most townspeople chose to stay silent, fearing retaliation from these wealthy and influential families. But the Little Satans' behavior became increasingly brazen. One day, a few children from town went missing, and the last time anyone saw them, they were with the Little Satans. Yet, due to a lack of direct evidence, the local police were unable to launch a deeper investigation. One officer, Marcus Hayes, refused to give up. He kept investigating quietly, watching the 3 families day after day. Then, one night, all the Little Satans' parents gathered together, and Marcus sensed that something was wrong. He immediately called for backup, and they eventually discovered a hidden basement. Inside, they found the missing children from town. As Marcus dug deeper into the case, he uncovered something even more terrifying. Do you want to know what Marcus found? Comment Little Satans to watch part 2.
Scariest urban legends of each state, part 1. Slaughter Canyon in Arizona. A family lived down in the canyon in the 1800s. The husband would always go into the mountains and try and find food for his family. One day, the husband never came back. The family was starving. The wife went crazy and killed her children. To this day, you can still hear the wife crying for forgiveness around the area.
Slaughter Canyon.
While many people have a fear of flying, they should have a fear of driving. Statistically, if you lived through the drive to the airport, you've already survived the most dangerous part of your journey for the day until you get back into a car when you arrive at your destination. The chances of getting into a deadly plane crash on a large commercial airplane are around 1 in 13 million, but your chances of getting into a deadly car crash are around 1 in 100.
Crazy food facts you didn't
Fun fact, I never flew anywhere.
Dark chocolate can actually make you smarter. Bananas are classified as berries, but strawberries are not. Honey never expires. They found pots of honey in old ancient Egyptian tombs that are still edible. Carrots weren't originally orange, they were originally purple. If you have no time for breakfast and you're on the go, Fuel 10K is the best food hack. I'm obsessed with their strawberry breakfast drink. It's tasty and a quick boost of energy. And if I get hungry when I'm working, their oat squares are the perfect snack to make me feel full.
Here are moments of regret that were caught on camera.
This one guy thought it would be funny to fool around at his local water park by hiding in one of the slides until the park closed. However, he forgot the fact that when the park closes, someone comes by to lock up the exit to the slide. And this happened exactly where he was hiding, and he was locked up, and his imprisonment was caught on camera. Next, during a heavy flood in his local city, a man tried taking a risk and drove straight into a giant body of water. Not only did this damage his car, but also his dignity, because people nearby were recording and roasting it. Next, this Canadian TikToker was trying to make her cousin laugh, and she succeeded, but it ended with her having a harmonica stuck in her jaw. In the video, which she chose to upload, you can see her panicking and breathing through the instrument, sounding like Thomas the Tank Engine. And finally, this lady saw a punching bag at her local arcade and tried to take a swing at it, only for her aim to be so off that she ended up hitting herself. She then saw that she was being recorded by her friend, flipped him off, and then immediately slipped and fell. I think at this point you have to move countries.
3 ways to survive.
You took that out.
Number 1. If you see a boy holding a knife at the edge of the woods, don't go near him and run the opposite way. Jeff is extremely strong and fast. Once you get too close, it's already too late. Number 2. Don't ever go looking for Jeff. Looking for him is an extremely bad idea, being so that he's extremely sick and twisted, and he'll probably do things that you wouldn't like being done to you, so looking for him shouldn't be on your list. Number 3. Don't ever make waffles past midnight, being so that Jeff is extremely obsessed with them. He loves waffles, and once he gets that scent, he'll walk towards them, ending up in your kitchen with a knife. Like and follow for more videos.
No waffles after midnight. Noted. Who eats waffles after midnight? Well, people go to Waffle House, so. See, because have you guys ever been to a Waffle House? It's been a minute, man, but they have some good waffle. That's an edit, man. We call them mama. We call out the edits. Every time.
Scroll now or lose your innocence. So fun fact, you actually like the taste of meat, but don't have the hardware to do anything about it. At least not to anything that's still alive. Yeah, I'd be shocked too. So you're looking at a deer taste testing a cat. No, I'm just playing. It's salt. We take it for granted because we can put salt in anything, but wild animals, they gotta get it out the mud. No, like literally, they get creative, and sometimes creative means a mouthful of soil. Sometimes elephants will go into caves just to lick salt off the walls. Yeah, you heard me. Elephants be splunking. And if you're a moose, you might just lick the salt off a car. Probably not great for insurance, car, health, life. A salt-feeding branch tank will wreck all 3. And it might not be a cunning linguist, but best believe a deer will lick a cat clean. Butterflies taste with their feet, and they're attracted to the salt in our sweat. So a butterfly landing on you is taste testing your salt-seasoned skin, and that is no joke. They'll also go out of their way to irritate the eyes of other animals to force them to cry just so they can drink the tears. Yeah, it ain't sweet. Salt can kill you in more ways than high blood pressure. Amazon animals often use clay licks called gold buds to add a little salt into their lives, which can get cut brutally short since jaguars will stalk clay licks knowing someone's gonna get got eventually. And deer using salt licks can spread chronic wasting disease. And if you don't know, CWD is death with busy work. And then you got that time mountain goats got addicted to the salt in human urine. And when I say addicted, they had to give them the Aerovac. Those goats were craving that mineral at all costs. Moral of the story, I don't think there is one. I don't even remember how we got here. So, something about cats?
Times when companies
Sad,
diss
bro.
others, part 5. In 2009, Domino's ran an advertisement saying that in a blind test, their sandwiches beat Subway's 2-1. Well, Subway then solved this and sent a letter to Domino's demanding that they pull their ads from air. Well, Domino's replied with this commercial.
Domino's oven-baked sandwiches beat the taste of Subway's 2-1. Then Subway's lawyers sent us this letter demanding we pull our commercials off the air. I was gonna burn the letter, but everything's better when it's oven-baked.
Next, in 2016, a Burger King in New York covered its entire building with white sheets and dressed up as the ghost of McDonald's, saying that McDonald's was the scariest Halloween costume they could wear. And they also recorded this ad where everybody was just screaming at the building. McDonald's response was, "Who wouldn't want to pretend to be us?"
Weirdest kids' toys ever, part 16. Now this product isn't actually a toy, but it was designed for kids. Wonder Woman safety scissors. These are 100% real and from the late 70s. What were they thinking? I mean, just look at that spread.
Who is the weakest horror movie character on this list? You have Leatherface, Michael Myers, Pennywise, Freddy Krueger, Pinhead, and Jason. Now, as we can all agree, Jason's getting knocked off the list already.
Yeah.
He's the strongest, as we all know. We're now left with Leatherface, Michael Myers, Pennywise, Freddy Krueger, and Pinhead.
Leatherface is pretty strong, don't get me wrong, but if he went one-on-one with any of these characters besides Pennywise, I think he's getting clapped. I think him versus Pennywise would be an actually pretty good fight. Yes, Pennywise is a demon, and Leatherface is a cannibalistic human that runs around with a chainsaw. But still, I think it would be a good fight. Then on the other hand, if you have Pennywise fight any of these other characters, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Pinhead, and Jason, Pennywise is getting packed up. So I feel like it's only fair that Michael Myers gets off the list. Michael Myers is packing up all of these characters besides Jason, making him the second strongest. And then for shits and giggles, I'm taking Pinhead off as well, because Pinhead is extremely powerful. As soon as you open that cube, you're wraps. Those chains come out of nowhere, it is chalked for you. Then I'm taking off Freddy Krueger, because let's be honest, Leatherface versus Freddy Krueger, Leatherface getting packed up. Freddy Krueger versus Pennywise, Pennywise getting packed up. But now the two weakest, in my opinion, is Leatherface and Pennywise. And if those two fought it out, I really and truly think Leatherface is winning. No holds barred. Pennywise is a fraud. Ain't that scary and ain't that strong. Don't forget to like and follow for more. Comment down below what you think.
But you guys agree with that list? I think, like I said, Freddy Krueger, yeah, he's, I think, the one-on-one, bro. And that guys know I never check out scary movies, but I've heard of Freddy Krueger many times to know about that. Yeah, how scary that movie was. I said it.
Once again, when you talk about horror, you better speak on this bear. This is the boss. That's his name, no relation. He's a 700-pound walking boulder of a bear and an anime plot device that includes his body. The boss has been recorded catching, murking, and eating multiple black bears. In fact, one of the first times he was ever seen was next to an expired bear, and officials had to close down the trail until the boss was done eating it. At one point, the boss hit a train and was tragically put down. The train, I mean. Oh, you didn't hear me. I said the bear hit the train. Boss ate that like it was nothing. He even shows up to the same tracks just to eat the animals that weren't strong enough to survive what he walked off. As mentioned, Boss was roughly the size of 2 prime shacks. As a whole plus-size predator, he was and is the biggest bear in the area, and it's believed he fathered more than 70% of all the bears in the area code. Mind you, he's believed to be up to 27 years old. Hey, twins, when the average male grizzly bear lives to 25. Which means by the time getting jumped, this bear on a LeBron type of run. And you know a bear that survived a literal train barely second-guesses cars, and the boss regularly crosses high-speed highways. It's anime plot armor with predatory hardware. The boss even has his own antagonist. That would be this guy, Split Lip. They've been running fades for years, and they've been in the same area for 15, so this beef may have marinated for over a decade. But I don't think Boss has taken an L yet. Boss from Bam better put some respect on the OG original Grizzly.
Let's talk about a
Boss versus Split. Who we got?
The main character is not what he seems. Hypocrite. Fair warning, we are going to spoil the story here, or at least what I think the story is. If you'd rather check the game out yourself, I have a full playthrough of it on my channel. We play as a social media influencer named August, and his whole thing is that he helps kids when they're being harassed on the internet or in real life. A guy named Leon requests that you help him find his daughter who's been kidnapped, and while solving kidnappings isn't really your thing, you decide to accept. And then, the story takes a turn. We watch as our character opens up a secret passageway behind a bookshelf. What could he possibly be doing? When he's down there in that secret tunnel, we learn what he really is. Our character, August, is a monster. He does not actually help people. And Leon's daughter has actually been kidnapped in his basement this entire time. But when Leon finds out something is up, it's too late, and August takes them both out.
This Russian engineer has just spent the last 6 years in his garage creating a real-life Iron Man suit. And this is not some little fun gimmick. Bro has literally invented certain elements specifically for this suit, like hydrogen artificial muscles. You see those wires? They are connected to his muscles, so when he flexes, the suit moves with him. And it only gets crazier because he created a real plasma repulsor that creates such a quick hydrogen explosion that it can't even be captured on his camera. And just like the entire Iron Man suit is powered by Tony Stark's chest piece, RIP to a real one, so is this suit. He created the world's first fully functional personal hydrogen reactor that powers those plasma shots, the artificial muscles, and even this. Real hand burners that can reach temperatures of over 3,000 degrees Celsius. He made it by creating an electrolyzer that splits water into hydrogen and oxygen, which are then combined and ignited to produce the torch's flame. And the hardest part about this is creating a really powerful continuous torch, while also preventing it from blowing out, overheating, and just burning his hand off. So he casually solved this by designing a system with multiple nozzles and then added an inbuilt cooling system. Bro is literally Tony Stark at this point. Now he's currently working on the outer layer of this suit, which has taken him several months just to create the head and torso. Because he didn't just pick up the first material and get cracking. He has designed every element of this suit to fit his body perfectly, which is painstaking. He went from pencil sketches to creating an entire clay model. He then used high-resolution 3D scanning to create a precise digital copy. He 3D printed those parts separately, strength tested countless materials, and then reinforced those pieces with Kevlar and carbon fiber. He even wrote and played the music he uses in the background of his videos. And he also holds the Guinness World Record for the world's first retractable lightsaber. And after 6 years, he's getting close. The question is, which will be complete first? GTA 6 or a real-life Iron Man suit?
Real life Iron Man. I'm taking that all day, every day, bro. Man, we were freaking pushing that boundaries, bro. Could you imagine? I couldn't even imagine the chaos, bro. Imagine Iron Man suits everywhere. That's just mind-blowing, man. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's the edit. Call them like we see it.
Fun fact, multiple people have been reporting that their robot vacuum cleaners are getting hacked, allowing hackers to gain full access to the machine's microphone, camera, and motion controls. One family's vacuum cleaner was hacked, and the hacker began shouting racist slurs through the microphone as they drove it around the house. All the hacked robot vacuum cleaners were Ecovacs D-Bot X2s, which ABC News Australia had already exposed to have massive security flaws. In another home, a hacked vacuum cleaner chased the family dog around the house while shouting at it through the microphone. But at least these people knew they'd been hacked. It's much scarier for those who didn't. As you can see from the ABC Australia news report, the Ecovacs D-Bot X2 has a very good camera, and you can clearly see a person's face or body.
You never know what could be your last moment. It's giants? That's how the pyramid was built. That's how the pyramids were built, the Great Pyramids. Interesting edit. It's setting it up right.
Teleported in a restaurant that was supposed to be closed. So this restaurant is closed, everyone is gone, and this person is by themselves. And they call this on camera.
Could be a glitch.
Confused. But he definitely just appeared out of nowhere. Stay weird.
Let me tell you about some of the things I just learned today. Tom Cruise is older than Gandalf. Tom Cruise is almost 63 years old today, while Ian McKellen, who is the actor who played Gandalf, was 62 years and 5 months old. 15 million people who bought Grand Theft Auto 5 have passed away while waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. Terry Irwin has not been on a date since losing her husband, Steve Irwin, 20 years ago now. Rob Schneider recently said publicly that Adam Sandler has called him every week for the past 30 years. LA has more taco trucks than gas stations, as it should be. I'll pay the premium prices for the tacos, but not the gas. That's actually literally like double the amount of taco trucks. That's amazing. Central Park is larger than the entire country of Monaco, and it also is about double the size. Kind of close. Hawaii is moving towards Japan 4 inches a year, or 10 centimeters if you feel that way. If you feel that. That was the most American line that I've ever said.
If you're unfamiliar where Pace, Florida is, it's located right up there in the Panhandle. Residents were startled and woken right out of their sleep at around 5 a.m. to a crazy sound coming out of the sky.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, take a look at this video.
So we all just got woken up to some disturbing sound all through the whole area. It was called 911, and they said they've gotten like over 50 calls about it.
You hear how loud that is? What is that? Here's another video from another part of Pace, Florida.
What is this noise?
Same sound.
What does that sound like to you?
Signal jam?
Residents have also reported seeing strange lights in the sky coming from the ocean right before dawn this past week. Only one news outlet reported the sounds in the sky and claimed it was a tripped steam line. So my question to you is, do you think that was a tripped steam line, or was something else lurking in the area? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Damn, Young Thug, who would've knew that Thugger was out here snitching? In my mind, I'm just wondering, how is Young Thug gonna spin this scenario? What excuse is he gonna come up to what we all heard on this damn audio of him allegedly snitching? Y'all remember what he said? He don't fuck with rats. He called Gunna a rat. So now with this audio, is he gonna call himself a rat? Now I'm just wondering, is the industry gonna hold him to the same standard as everybody else they deem snitches? The same way they did Gunna? The same way they did 6ix9ine? I know he was telling, but still, a rat is a rat, right? Am I wrong? Am I tripping? Now can you and Gunna rekindle y'all relationship? Y'all, listen to the audio.
This motherfucker money from New Orleans. I'm coming out. This was in Atlanta and I was in New Orleans. I said, what the fuck? That was so weird. This fucking damn shot this to us. I don't know who the fuck did. They said Roscoe with me. I don't know if I ain't finna. I don't want to block. I don't want to like block y'all case by saying Roscoe didn't do that shit on Roscoe. Man, that man fucking sure. I'm like, you shot everybody, bro. But I don't fucking know because every day nigga broke fucking ball. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
So listening to that audio, what do y'all think? Let me know. Am I tripping? Was that snitching? Dry snitching? Andy snitching? A little sprinkle of the seasoning? Let me know down below in the comments. How y'all feel about it?
You have
Tell me down
spare
below.
bedrooms in your house or apartment, you may soon be taxed extra for it. This is what lawmakers in Australia are proposing as a radical plan to address their housing and affordability crisis. Now, last week, during the country's economic reform roundtable, one of the several proposals that they made would work by disincentivizing or punishing people who have spare bedrooms. For example, if you are a family of 3 but you have 5 bedrooms, you would be taxed extra for those 2 additional bedrooms. And this is because Australia has a bit of a problem. They simply don't have enough homes, which has caused house prices to skyrocket, and since they consistently fall short of their annual target of building 240,000 new houses, they're now being forced to find ways of making space with the houses they've already got. But some people are outraged about this, saying that it's intrusive and that if they have empty bedrooms, it's for guests or storage. They argue that this is an infringement on privacy and freedom and that it's unfair to expense those who have retired. But what do you guys think? Is this going too far, or is it necessary to ensure everyone has a home?
I mean, that's kind of crazy, bro. You're getting taxed because you have some extra rooms in your house. Could you imagine getting a bed and be like, oh, because you have like 2 or 3 more extra rooms, man, you gotta get taxed on that. Nah.
People are leaving this museum with bruises, scratches, and nightmares, and one painting might be causing it. The Artemis Fractal, painted by Bill Stoneham, is considered to be one of the most haunted paintings in the world. Zach Baggins from Ghost Adventures added it to his museum thinking that this would be a cool exhibit, but visitors are now experiencing physical and emotional reactions that are impossible to ignore. Here's the wildest part about it though, nobody seems to understand why this painting is actually considered haunted. Paranormal experts think that it might be a psychic amplifier, and the painter said that the painting has a living energy. That means that it can reflect and magnify the emotional and spiritual energy of anyone who looks at it. People look at it and they report fear, sudden sadness, even physical bruising and scratches, like the painting is reacting to them directly. When people visit the museum, they report fainting, crying, having nightmares, or coming out with bruises and scratches. And this isn't just an isolated incident. In the same museum, there's a doll named Peggy, and she's notorious for having paranormal activity. gonna make a video about her after this. But like having both of these objects in the same space makes it feel like something dark is spreading through the rooms. Would you be brave enough to visit this museum, or do you think that all of this is just a publicity stunt? Let me know and follow for more.
Nope.
This is why
I rebuke that negative energy.
On your skin when something don't feel right. Okay? Or you hear the saying of your hair standing up on the back of your neck. What does an antenna do once it receives a frequency? It stands up right. All right? So the reason the hair stands up on your back of your neck when something doesn't feel right or seem right is because your skin is literally an antenna. Now, these frequencies that you emit out your skin goes out into the universe and begins to immediately reshape your environment around you based upon what it is that you have been thinking, based upon what it is that you have been sending to the... Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Based on what it is that you have been sending to your brain. How have you been programming your computer? All right, your brain is literally a computer, all right? And the reason why a lot of us black people and Latinos, which are the original gods, are walking around completely blind and lost right now is because we walking around without no goddamn GPS, no Wi-Fi, okay? If you don't have the neurochemistry in your brain set up to teach, set up to learn, set up to better yourself, then you're going to do whatever programming you're thinking at the time, okay? So basically, these images that your ancestors used when they talk, once again, they're called hieroglyphics, all right? This is why they wrote those on those Egyptian pyramids.
And then like even like that freaky weird pedophile shit that be going on, like you hear about it, but it's dark and demonic energy that this industry was built on. And people manipulate young women, they manipulate kids, and at the end of the day, it's all for the dollar and all to feed their ego. So I've seen some shit where you be like, that's just not right. Like that person shouldn't be talking to that person. That person shouldn't be in the room with that person alone. That person shouldn't, but on the other side, what I've also seen is some very innocent situations get turned into things that have nothing to do with the person or the position in power, but because it was manipulated from the other side, it made someone who was just trying to operate within the system look bad. I mean, like I said, like I've been part of lawsuits where I wasn't even in the same city, but because it was an event that I sponsored or it was a movie.
So I see everybody saying that they haven't seen the president for the last couple of days, and this shit is looking kind of weird. Now, the fact that J.D. Vance jumped on TV and said what he said, and we all heard what he said, that's another thing that makes this shit believable. And aside from the videos, I went down some rabbit holes. That Pentagon Pizza Index, they said they're at DEFCON 5 right now. And if you don't believe me, you could just Google Pentagon Pizza Index and it will come up. Go to the website and you'll see. Mind you, this is Labor Day weekend. We all know. The president loves to speak, and we haven't heard from him. They have things going on for the Labor Day weekend, and he's not a part of it. That's what they're saying. I'm gonna just say this. Whatever is going on right now, they've been getting us ready for this shit for the last couple of months. They've been making us look left when we should have been looking right the whole entire time. Telling us something is coming in the next couple of months and things of that nature. Trust and believe, whatever is going on, whatever is about to happen, they already knew what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna say this. Protect your peace by any means necessary, because things can get crazy real fast. I mean, just jump down the timeline. Them deploying the military in different states and things of that nature. None of this shit add up. So again, we're dealing with the masters of illusion. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm out.
The whole process of cloud seeding and weather manipulation can fully be weaponized. And that's what the conspiracy is that all these big countries like China trying to learn the technology of weather manipulation, because you can't prove it's like no, it's just the weather.
It's just random. That's so sad. We didn't know. Okay, so I'm on the NOAA.gov site right now. They have a bar that says weather modification project reports, and in that it defines weather modification. So this is if you're doing weather modification, you you are required to report these waves, which means they exist. These aren't theories. This is from .gov. I'll just start with the banger. Using lasers or other sources of electromagnetic radiation, releasing electrically charged or radioactive particles or ions into the atmosphere, releasing aerosols, gas, liquids, weather modification, and the one that I thought was really crazy is it says applying shockwaves, sonic energy sources, or other explosive or acoustic sources to the atmosphere.
It's getting crazy how quickly we just move past things.
Now I'm gonna take.
So that's confirmed, bro. Weather manipulation is confirmed. That's crazy, man. That's on actually the .gov website. I wonder how many people even know that it exists.
Take you guys to one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive grocery store in the United States of America. So let's go check it out really quick.
Those prices looking like
a lot of just kind of small houses up on stilts because this is all tundra. The crazy part is it's only about 2:30 in the afternoon and it's almost dark out. There's a school bus in the village. All the kids are getting off school right now. And this is the Kupik Corporation, and this is also a grocery store right here. Let's go check it out.
What they hitting on, bro? What these prices hitting on? You gotta know.
As you guys can see, it is not cheap to live out in the village up here. Everything you get is extremely expensive. You do get paid more if you can find a job, but it costs a lot to live out here.
As soon as I saw those prices, I'd have been like,
there's the playground there. Here's the school right there. The career fair is happening in the gymnasium back here, so that's where we're heading right now. Well, guys, back in the hotel room. Morning, guys. We're heading south. Back to Anchorage. We're almost back home, and that was a very successful trip. That is the most amount of people I've ever had road tests in the village, and a lot of people have their licenses now, which is really cool. It really helped out a lot of folks.
Seekers, would you live out there, man? That's a no for me, man. Those prices, I can't deal with that, man. $22 for some damn, what was it, for some cranberry juice? Nah. We out.
I don't think people are grasping how serious this is. Half of the world just stopped shipping packages to the US. This is deeper than just getting your Sheen packages. That means medicine, parts to cars, materials that we need for warehouses to fully operate, things like your iPhone and many more. And now I'm hearing rumors that the store said the shelves could be empty because of this. And if y'all thought inflation was bad now, give it a couple weeks if this blockade does not stop. Them shelves gonna look real biblical, because what people don't understand is the majority of everything that's in the US is imported from another country. If y'all don't get no imports, that means that the shelves is empty. And if the shelves is empty, the little things that are on the shelves, the price goes up. Drastic inflation. Let's all pray that what they saying on the news is capped. Because if they stopping shipments to the US, it's about to get biblical. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments of what y'all think about them stopping all shipment crates to the US in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom. Stay tuned.
Did y'all know wind is actually the effect of a powerful energy source? When y'all see wind being blown and tornadoes and storms happening, do y'all really think that that's happening for no reason? Is it just a natural cause or a natural disaster? This video is definitely going out to the air sign. Yeah, these blinds is closed. When you look up the definition of wind, it's moving air, caused by uneven heating of the earth by the sun. I mean, just think about it. Every single time in anime, when a person powers up, wind is just going crazy around them. It's the literal effect of energy. When I was in middle school, I even asked my teacher, well, how does wind blow? Something kinetically has to be moving in order for it to take that effect. He actually told me that wind comes from the cold areas of the North Pole and the South Pole. But you know, that didn't never make sense to me. Wind is actual energy. That's why it's used for electricity. Every time Storm powers up, she has electricity walking around her. That's why lightning happens when it storms. And it all has to come from a source. Someone, something, some being has to be conducting a powerful energy in order for this wind to happen and this fan to blow. And they have figured out how to transfer that wind into the benefit of their electricity and energy. Because they know when these storms happen, that's these beings on the other side powering up. Wind is a physical effect of energy around us. You ever heard somebody say, I don't like the feel of this wind? Something's about to happen? Because they can feel the energy of the wind that something is about to happen. There's a lot more going on with these thunderstorms, wind, and lightning. So when you see wind blowing, something is conducting energy, especially on the other side. So y'all stay dangerous.
How many people remember going outside watching children play this game called hopscotch? It looked real innocent, right? What if I told you there is no innocence in none of these games we played when we was children? This was all a ritual to set us up later on in life for the Matrix. The elites gave us games like this, and they took away real spiritual meaning. Remember, the program starts when you are a child. We were supposed to be learning about the body, personality, soul, and spirit. But they replaced sacred knowledge and gave us boxes with numbers in it. This game was dealing with the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. Remember, they tell you the truth because they had to, not because they want to. Karma is a real thing, and they can always say, we did tell them. Well, they told us in a demonic way. But this story go a little deep. Stay with me. I want people to pay close attention to the numbers they use for this game. It starts from 1 and end at 10. This is connected to the 1 and 0 matrix computer code. The reason why you can't see 0 in this game is because we represent the 0. The 1 and 0 represents life and death. This is also connected to another game we used to play called tic-tac-toe. You had the 0 and the X. The Roman numeral for X is 10 or 10. It put us in a box since we was children. Go to school and sit down at your square desk and follow directions on the blackboard. By the way, please think outside of the box. This is the box they are speaking about. So many people believe that rituals just look like this. This is only one form. This is another form. Everything goes back to this planet Saturn, which is the black cube, or Cronus eating its own children. That's why the programs start when we are children. This system is eating us alive. We are no longer learning about spirituality, the soul, the cosmos, the universe, God, ether. We are not learning about nothing important no more. Our consciousness is now trapped in a cube. They took our spirits and made them numbers and trapped us in a box. Corporations, schools, religions, everything goes back to the cube. These people that control everything look at us like we are squares. By definition, a square is someone that don't understand what's going on. And last time I checked, we are the squares because we don't understand what's going on. It's something they understand that we don't understand. And it goes back to this. If they can program you when you are young, they can actually mold and shape the future. Keep trying to tell people that we are the squares that's locked away in a prison. We are not free. Only so much I can say about this topic.
Y'all, I seen the sky look bad before, but I have never ever seen it look like this. Tell me why everyone in Brisbane, Australia was seeing this across the sky, y'all. And I mean everybody. And people were saying it felt like something was... Yo, check this out, y'all. This is crazy.
I just want to show you the sky. I mean, talk about a grid. This is just crazy.
And then talk about how low the sky is, y'all. Look at the bird. The bird is literally eye level with the trees.
Well, look what we have again here in Brisbane. Look at these natural cloud forms. Wow, Mother Nature's amazing. Look at that.
I don't think that's natural, my guy.
Hey, Mother Nature at its finest.
Looking at the sky almost wants to give me claustrophobia. Are you guys picking up on this? Are y'all feeling the same way? Because look how low it is.
Australia were some of the most beautiful I've ever seen. But what's going on right now? Like...
Y'all, look how low the sky is again, y'all.
There's a start point right here. And it's just like a...
Y'all see the hole punch clouds? And then it's rippling throughout the whole sky.
throughout the whole of Brisbane going that way.
So what's going on here, y'all? I thought the higher ups were taking care of this. Why are we still seeing in our skies? Even looking over here, y'all, it's a cloudy, gloomy day. And I told you everyone was seeing this. So my question is, right? This looks to be, you know, a little bit. So people in Brisbane, Australia, how y'all feeling? I want to know how you guys are feeling after all of this. Anyone else who has ever seen this in their skies, how do you guys feel the next day, y'all? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shift is here. Let's get it. Peace in.
People who are 1 in a million. Part 2. This is Gary Turner, but he's better known as the Elastic Man. He has a medical condition that causes his skin to be so stretchy that he can stretch the skin from his neck over his mouth. Next is Nanya Su, who's a boy with perfect night vision. His parents both have brown eyes, but he has blue eyes that glow when a light is shined. He claims that it's hard to see during the day, but while everyone sees this at night, this is what he sees. This is Paul Carrison, the real-life Papa Smurf. To fix his skin condition, he would drink silver and rub it on his skin every day, causing him to turn irreversibly blue. Finally, this man came into the hospital with severe chest pain, and doctors were shocked when they discovered he had 2 hearts, and he had suffered a double heart attack.
This truck driver took the life of 5 people because he was distracted on TikTok. The morning of January 12, 2023, 36-year-old Danny Tyner was driving on Interstate 10 in Arizona when he drove his tractor trailer in to stop the traffic. This scene is so difficult to look at, but basically his truck sandwiched 2 other cars with another big truck at the front. These are the 5 victims that lost their lives on that day, and when Danny was asked what happened, he said that he looked down for a couple of seconds because he got a notification on his work tablet, and when he looked back up, there was not enough time to brake. But that wasn't true. When his phone was analyzed, it showed that he was actively using TikTok when the crash happened. Now, what I found disturbing was that during his interaction with police, he didn't seem too fazed. He was eventually charged with manslaughter and was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison for each count of negligent homicide, which totaled to 22.5 years.
This is the tragedy.
Man, I'm telling you guys, when you out driving, man, just do not be informed, man. Like I said, social media is a distraction, man. That's basically what it was made for. So why would you even attempt to even like look at it while you're driving, bro? That's just doesn't make sense to me. Look at the result of what happened, man. Multiple senses, man, because you just wanted to scroll on TikTok, man. TikTok cannot be, well, we know it's that addicting, man, where you just want to keep scrolling and scrolling, but you drive and you don't have that luxury.
Tragic story of the Boy Scout who made his entire neighborhood radioactive. Nicknamed the Nuclear Boy Scout, David Hahn was a teenager from Michigan who was obsessed with nuclear radiation. When he was only 15, David attempted to build a nuclear reactor in his backyard shed, using radioactive material from household items including vintage clocks, smoke detectors, and gun sights. Within 2 years, David had built a functioning reactor which gave off enough radiation to be detected throughout his entire neighborhood.
Damn.
David was soon caught by police when they found hazardous materials in his car during a routine stop and thought he was building an atomic bomb. When David's shed was raided by the EPA, they determined that his project had created dangerous levels of radiation, leading them to dismantle the building and classify it as hazardous waste. This mugshot from 2006 shows David covered in sores as a result of his extensive exposure to radiation. This, combined with continuous legal and mental health issues, led to David's early passing at the age of 39 from an accidental overdose.
Wanted to become like Adam Man or something.
Superpowers Part 2. The super coffee drinker, BDNF. Carriers of this gene remain completely unaffected to the effects of caffeine from coffee, and can often easily get a night's sleep after drinking a cup. The perfect memory gene, HSAM. If you are lucky enough to be born with this gene, you will have almost a perfect memory. However, it's extremely rare with only 25 confirmed cases. The super sprinter gene, ACTN3. People with these genes are able to run extra fast, as these genetics give your muscles a higher flexing rate, which gives them more explosive power.
Speed
the
got that.
immunity gene, ALDH2. Having this super rare gene will mean you will never be able to experience being drunk with your friends, and you might have a lot of explaining to do, as it gives you total immunity from the effects of being drunk.
Imagine if everybody had that, the world would be a safer place, man. Everybody's immune to alcohol. Woo. And the speed definitely got the freaking sprinter gene, bro. I know what I'm talking about. He's too fast. That's the only explanation.
This is how rare your body is compared to the rest of the world. Only 10% of people have something called Darwin's tubercle. It's this little bump on the outside of your ear. And it's said that people who have this are better at sensing voice tonality. 10% of people also have what's called Morton's toe. This is where your big toe is shorter than the toe next to it. Only 26% of people have a narrator inside their head. Most people don't hear a voice when they think. What's even more rare is only 5% of people have their tongues tied to their mouth. I thought everyone had this. Everyone flares their nostrils subconsciously, but only 30% of people can do it on command. Less than 1% of people have unbreakable bones, making you basically superhuman. Only about 35% of people can gleek, and only 1% can do it on command. And gleeking is when you squirt saliva from underneath your tongue.
Any secrets can you guys gleek, bro? I've seen that before. I've always wanted to know what that was, man. I finally got an answer. It's called gleeking, bro. Shoot saliva through your tongue. That's a very, I guess, rare skill set. You got any gleekers, man, in the comments? Oh, that's insane, bro.
This incident has made people on the internet so upset because this woman went up to a teen and pulled down her skirt because she thought it was too short. Even if you think this skirt is too short, I think we can all agree that you cannot go up to a child and touch them. The teen said that this woman approached her from behind and basically put her hand in her area. This woman, who's a 49-year-old Ida Lorenzo, said to the girl and her friends, "I happen to work for the state, and if I have to see your cheeks hanging out again, I will call CPS."
I happen to work for the state, and if I have to watch your cheeks hanging out again, I will call CPS.
Now, let's be real for a second. If this was a man who did this to a young girl, police would be called immediately and there would be no excuses. They were waiting at a restaurant to be seated and she basically felt like it was inappropriate for this young girl to be dressed like this in front of everyone. Which, if you feel that way, then you can leave. You should never be putting your hands on anyone. She was eventually charged with sexual battery, which I'm glad, because you can't be putting your hands on anyone, especially kids.
People who are 1 in a million.
Explained
this
it
girl's
perfectly.
name is Zhang Rufang, and she is over 100 years old. But a few years ago, something strange happened. She started growing a horn on her head. At first, it started off small, but now it's grown up to 6 centimeters in length. But the craziest part is, she's actually starting to grow a second horn on the other side. And doctors have offered to remove it from her head, but she refuses. Before I show you the craziest one, I just found a way you can find your celebrity lookalike, and apparently I look like Mr. Beast. If you want to know who your celebrity lookalike is, just press this link in the comments. Next up is Nang Yasoi, and he has perfect night vision. And the strange part about this is both his parents have brown eyes, but he has blue eyes. When everyone else sees darkness, he sees perfectly in the middle of the night.
The rarest things found on Earth. This is a red diamond, and it is one of the rarest material known to man. Because of that, they are way more expensive than normal diamonds. This tiny one is worth around $25 million.
Damn.
And this is a corpse flower. It's basically a giant flower that smells like rotting flesh, and it can only be found in remote areas in Indonesia. Imagine having one of these in your garden. And this small and beautiful sea creature is a blue dragon. It's only a few inches big, but it eats deadly jellyfish every day for food.
The more you know. I want that freaking red diamond.
A Russian scientist
find
injected himself with this ancient bacteria to see what would happen. Dr. Anatoly Brushkov discovered bacteria deep within the permafrost of Siberia that was 3.5 million years old, and somehow it was still alive. It was named Bacillus F, and after doing some experiments on it, he realized the bacteria not only seemed to be immune to aging, but also appeared to have a life-extending effect on almost every organism it touched. He tested the strain on female mice who were able to continue reproducing into old age, much older than the average mice could, and when he exposed it to crops, they grew faster and were more frost resistant. The town of Yakut, Siberia, close to where this bacteria was found, also happens to be one of the coldest human settlements on Earth, with their population reporting longer lifespans than average humans, perhaps due to Bacillus F leaking into their water supply. Dr. Brushkov was so convinced he said "fuck it" and injected himself with the ancient bacterium to test it out firsthand. 2 years later, he reported dramatic improvements to his general health, claiming to need less sleep, working longer hours, and just having more energy in his day-to-day life. He also allegedly hasn't gotten sick since he injected himself with it, with him and his colleagues starting to call it the elixir of life. Dr. Brushkov did this in 2013 and claims to be in the best health of his life today. And I'm sure Big Pharma loves the idea of a miracle life potion that would potentially lose them billions of dollars a year in revenue, so we definitely should not question any articles that debunk this find. To be fair, these effects aren't exactly 100% confirmed and could very well be a placebo effect, but that sure didn't stop others from hopping on the Bacillus F bandwagon. German actress Manouche began self-medicating the bacteria and reported being able to go for longer runs, feeling less cold in the winter, and her skin just feeling softer and younger. Brushkov and his team insist the effects of Bacillus F are clear and significant, although they admit they're not yet sure why it has the effect it does. But if they can manage to isolate the gene responsible for the positive benefits of the bacteria, they may have just discovered the ultimate elixir of life. As long as there isn't, you know, a whole ass industry with infinite money that tries to stop it.
The elixir of life. I gotta believe that, man. Like I said, it could be a placebo effect, but I mean, if you can inject yourself with like a million years old bacteria, you have to be pretty sure to do that. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Go down that rabbit hole.
Kids' Toys Ever, Part 51. Mr. Bucket, released in 1990, discontinued twice and brought back. But what was the problem? Well, the shape of the mouth didn't help. But the only thing they actually changed were the words in the jingle. A certain part they decided to cut out.
I'm Mr. Bucket. I'm Mr. Bucket. Toss your balls in my top. I'm Mr. Bucket. Out of my mouth, I'm Mr.
Extinct animals, scientists are close to reviving. Firstly, the woolly mammoth. It was believed to have gone extinct 25,000 years ago, but scientists discovered hundreds that just died recently. So they're planning to put its DNA inside African elephants, and they expect to bring them back in the next 5 years. Next, dodo birds were hunted to extinction 400 years ago, but a preserved head was recently discovered. By mixing that DNA with a maned pigeon, dodo birds should be coming back in 15 years. Finally, expect to see saber-toothed tigers outside soon, because scientists discovered DNA preserved in tar pits, and they plan to combine it with African lions. So this 10-inch tooth beast should be coming back in 10 years.
That's throwing off the environment, man. They shouldn't be doing that.
Never slice tomatoes this way. So when this guy noticed that his boss was slicing tomatoes one by one, wasting a lot of time, he decided to show him a trick that everyone should know. He took a plate, put a few tomatoes on it, covered them with another plate, and in one move, he sliced more tomatoes than his boss in an hour.
Have you ever seen a Mickey
insane,
Mouse
man.
gas mask? These were made to calm terrified children. About a month after Pearl Harbor, Walt Disney was in Washington, D.C. to design and discuss Mickey Mouse gas masks for children. 1,000 of these were produced and given away to key members of Congress to help support the project. At the time, President Roosevelt even received one. Walt Disney also came up with drawing designs for Pluto and Three Little Pigs gas masks, although these ones never reached production. They attempted to keep the fun element in something as grim as gas raids. During these raids, children would be persuaded to regard the whole thing as a game.
That's crazy, man. Like a freaking Mickey Mouse gas mask? Makes you wonder, man, what other freaking, I guess, companies and stuff made things in that time. But like I said, there was only 1,000 of them, so obviously it was a limited number. That was just a dark time, man, in history. Kids had to think it was a game.
And curtain number one.
That's an edit.
You don't remember what she looks like.
Call them out.
Here are the craziest things to ever happen at Walmart. So one day, an 18-year-old was craving milk. So he decided to steal not one, not two, but 26 gallons of milk from Walmart. Oh, and he did this dressed as a cow. And if that doesn't sound weird enough to you, you'd be surprised to learn that even though he made himself stand out in the cow costume, he managed to not get caught on the spot. Next, on Black Friday in 2013, a customer and his son were freaking out in Walmart because they thought that his ex-wife was possessed by a demon. And so they locked her in their car and set up an exorcism in the parking lot by throwing sacred oil at her, which might have been the reason why they ended up divorcing. Also, back in 2013, a 16-year-old was going into labor, and she gave birth in a Cannon City Walmart bathroom. Now, there was panic for a moment because the baby wasn't breathing, but luckily, one of the store's employees were CPR certified and they revived the baby. I guess Walmart really can help you live better. And finally, in 2011, at a Walmart in South Carolina, customers witnessed a man named Avery Blandon end the life of his wife, Lilia Blandon, while she was working inside the store's bank. Avery stabbed her multiple times, and she sadly passed away on the way to the hospital. He then tried to escape the scene, but he crashed his SUV and was caught by police. But what's weird is that the store stayed open during the investigation, only in Walmart.
Did you guys see this
They
video
do not
of these
care,
two planes
man.
that almost crashed into each other in midair? It was all caught by this police officer's dash cam. This all happened last month in Syracuse, New York, when a Delta airplane was cleared to take off, while at the same time an American airline airplane was cleared to land in the same runway. So the Delta airplane was on its way to LaGuardia Airport while the American airline plane was arriving from Washington Reagan Airport. What's crazy is that these two planes were only 725 feet away from each other in the air, but from the ground's point of view, they looked so much closer. At one point, the two planes were side by side, and that should not be happening for obvious reasons, which is why the job of an air traffic controller is so important. This error was completely on the air traffic controller, who shouldn't have cleared both airplanes at the same time. It's still unclear why and how this happened, but they're still investigating. Thankfully, both planes did not collide, and all 159 passengers are safe.
It's official.
That's insane to think about, man. Like, they were literally like that close. Like, there's like a hair off if something happened, man. Like she said, it was the air trafficker's job. That they need to, whoever was there that day, they had to get their freaking job reviewed or something like that, because they obviously was not paying attention. Flights, man. One of the most scariest things, man, that can happen. Fun fact, I've never been on an airplane before yet. I've never flown yet, so that just raises my anxiety.
Aliens exist. These are the remains of non-human creatures. They were presented to a hearing in Mexico's Congress, which is investigating unidentified anomalous phenomena. The hearing was told that the specimens were found in Peru in 2017 and apparently are 700 and 1800 years old. People online were quick to compare the likeness to that of E.T. from the movie. One user wrote, "No way, they can't be that small. Those are mutated cats." But looking at a picture that was released of their skull, this is no cat, which is eerily similar to a skull they found in 2021. What's worse is experts testified under oath that one of them is seen to have eggs inside it, and both specimens were said to have implants made of very rare metals. And even though the aliens are pretty small, you can tell that this is clearly something different. I ain't gonna lie, this guy looks like he doesn't want to go to work tomorrow. Let's take one last look. Do you believe in aliens?
Morbid fact.
Do you?
Part 402. George Lopez has a genetic condition that caused his kidneys to slowly deteriorate. So when he needed a new kidney in 2005, his wife Ann gave him one of her own. A couple years later, George reportedly cheated on his wife, then divorced her in 2010, all while wearing her kidney. The first scientist to observe penguins engaging in gay intercourse, rape, and necrophilia was so disturbed that he tried to obscure his findings to prevent people from knowing the truth about penguins. In 1995, a substitute school bus driver in Illinois stopped at a red light with the back part of the bus still on some train tracks. The children were screaming for her to move the bus forward as a train approached, but she was confused about what they meant. The train struck the bus at 60 miles per hour and 7 children were killed. In 2018, Gloria Williams pleaded guilty to posing as a nurse to abduct Kamaya Mobley from her mother's arms in the maternity ward. She was sentenced to 18 years in prison, the same length of time Kamaya was separated from her birth family.
That was not it.
4-year-old Gabby Mann was living in Seattle, Washington with her family. One day, she dropped a chicken nugget onto the ground, and before she could pick it up, a neighborhood crow swooped down and took the free lunch. And because Gabby was a messy eater, she continued to drop food everywhere she went, and so she continued to inadvertently feed these crows. She grew to really enjoy the attention, and so she started feeding them huge portions of her lunch. When Gabby's mother discovered where most of her daughter's food was going, she wasn't upset. She was just worried her daughter wasn't getting enough to eat. They would go out and buy some food just for the crows. She and her mom began feeding the crows every day. Gabby went outside one morning to refill the peanut tray when she noticed there was a small earring. Over the following few weeks, when more and more little trinkets started showing up, Gabby's mom installed a camera. She was amazed to see the crows would come in and they would eat their food, and then they would leave behind these shiny little trinkets. But the crows' most astonishing gift came the following year. Gabby's mother was an avid photographer, and one day she was out by herself photographing a bald eagle. She managed to drop a lens cover to one of her cameras. That night, when she got back to her house, she couldn't believe what was sitting there. She ran back inside and pulled up the footage from the bird camera, and there it was, a crow coming into the yard with the lens cap in its mouth. This behavior is very significant because it means the relationship between the crows and Gabby and her mom was not a transactional one. Today, Gabby and her mother still feed the crows every single day, and the crows still love Gabby and her mother.
Okay,
It's like good karma coming back to
a
you.
pharmaceutical company that's trialing a new groundbreaking age reversal pill had such good results that the local news wanted to run a story on them. But before they even could publish the video, the chairman and CEO died. You see, 6 months ago, this 12-year-old German Shepherd was near death. He had terminal cancer, was operated on, and his prognosis wasn't looking good. The dog's caretaker knew that an age reversal trial was being conducted on dogs, and so she asked if Zeus could be a part of it due to his dire situation. The pill's aim is to lengthen telomere caps on human stem cells, because as part of the aging process, our telomeres shorten, which increases the chance of age-related diseases and, of course, death.
If you can increase telomeres, you can reproduce stem cells and keep repairing things so that you can get literally younger.
They said that in their drug's preclinical data from a previous in vitro human cell study, it showed that the medication lengthened telomeres by almost 200%. Zeus was granted access to the medication in April, and his caretaker said that she saw results almost immediately.
He's doing marvelously. He goes out to our pool and he swims and he has fun and he plays with the tennis ball.
A recent scan showed that the cancer in his body had completely disappeared, and the results were so remarkable that she asked for more to give another 12-year-old dog that could hardly walk due to arthritis. And just last week, she said that he had started galloping and running again. But then, despite all of that, he hit us with this.
And we are sad to report that since this interview was conducted, Dr. Christopher Chapman has recently passed away.
On the company's website, they announced his passing, saying, out of respect and privacy for Dr. Chapman's family, details of the 71-year-old's passing will not be made available. And then added that to support the new chairman and CEO, 3 telomere directors have voluntarily resigned. Human trials for this drug are planned for mid-2025.
The rarest things in the world.
What do you think happened?
Vaquita, only 10 left in the wild. Rarest gem on earth, payment worth $60,000 per carat. Rarest poker hand, the royal flush, 1 in 655,000 chance. Rarest element on earth, as the time, less than 1 gram on earth exists. Rarest car, Ferrari 250 Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo? Didn't they make a movie about that?
Okay, this is getting hard to believe, but there has just been reports of a second wave of explosions in Lebanon, but this time it's people's walkie-talkies. So yesterday, Hezbollah fighters' pagers, today, their radios. Initial reports are saying that the most recent wave of explosions have caused cars and houses to be set on fire, and there were even reports, this one's crazy, that one exploded at a funeral of someone who died from yesterday's explosions. And while I'm on the topic of explosions, you're going to see a lot of reports of people saying explosive devices found at Trump rally, even going as far as saying third assassination attempt, question mark. Let me just save you some time. That is a false report. There's going to be a lot of corrections. Don't worry about it. I'll keep you updated.
Imagine being kidnapped, locked in a basement, and then when the police come, they just leave you there to die. Back in the 1980s, many girls in Belgium were just randomly vanishing without a trace. This guy right here, Mark Detroit, was the guy who was doing all of this. Now in his early years, he had a lot of relationship issues and ended up marrying his second wife, Michelle Martin, this woman right here. What these two would do together genuinely will make you feel sick. Major trigger warning, if you're easily scared, please just keep on scrolling right now. This is your final one. On June the 7th, 1985, they took their first victim, who was an 11-year-old girl walking home from school, which they kidnapped. They took her back to their place, armed her, and then took a photo of her after this before just releasing her. Now they did this tons of times before actually being caught by the police the first time, but then it got far worse. So they were both arrested but got a very, very short sentence and were out in no time. Mark was released in 1992 after serving literally 3 years in prison for all of this. Of course, the reason they were caught the first time was because the victims they let go free had reported them, so they built this literal dungeon in the basement of the house where they would keep people. He went on to kidnap at least 6 people in the space of a couple of years and left them all in here. At this time, the news was going crazy in the local area because tons of girls were going missing. No one knew where they were, but they were all in here. Now, even crazier again, Mark's own mother actually reported him to the police and they still didn't go round. And she even told the police that he literally had girls captive in the basement right now and the police did nothing. Not long after this, though, Mark was actually arrested for something completely separate, stealing a car, and he told his wife she would have to keep the girls in the basement alive by watering them and feeding them. Yeah. Now, by far, the most angering part of this whole story is that the police finally went round and did a check on the house. He literally heard children screaming and begging for help, and they walked out. They did nothing. Because apparently it sounded like the screams were coming from outside and just kids playing a prank or something. Like, what? There was even undeveloped camera film on the side here, which they just didn't develop, but if they did, they would have seen literally everything. Now, apparently, this woman was too scared to go into the basement and look after the girls, so tragically passed away. When he finally got out, he started again, and more girls started vanishing, until eventually someone came forward after spotting him in a van, basically while in the act. He then confessed, showed the police the whole basement and everything, and even showed them where some bodies of people were. He also reportedly had another accomplice, but they had a disagreement, and he unalived him and buried him in the house as well. After the whole case came to a close, she got 30 years in jail, and he got a life sentence.
People gotta freaking follow up on their jobs, man. It's like one simple mistake, one small detail. If you don't follow up, somebody could freaking lose something. Somebody could lose somebody forever, man. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, make sure you guys comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on my social medias down below. Hit that thumbs up button, man, so we can get to this algorithm. More people can see these videos. You guys can catch in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, Seekers.